think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, I'm here. Who want to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighters beat me.
Demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, a very interesting week. It's Friday, man. Happy Friday to everybody out there, man. Salute to Cookie Monster. Salute to AC. Hopefully everybody had a good, wonderful week. Cookie Monster say mic check, 1 2 1 2. Sound stage check. Completed and awesome. Crystal clear. That's what I like to hear. But it's been an interesting week this week. A lot of ups and downs in boxing. I try to keep everything on the up and up. I try to stay focused on the 80% of what's good on boxing, and then you got that 20% that everybody pretty much tends to dwell on. So I've been sitting back, man, in the cut, reading what I can. Becoming as informed as I can, because I'm one of them measure 1,000 times and cut once kind of guys. And I felt like, man, a lot of these things, need to be addressed with a level head from somebody that's not scared to tell the truth. I noticed that on my last couple of lives, man, I've been telling a lot of truth, and it's wild because I really don't get off into these people's personal lives. I just state my opinion based on the facts that I come up with, and people still want to unsubscribe. Meanwhile, you got content creators that'll put these boxers in drag. You got content creators that contradict themselves like every day. You got content creators that lie, content creators that buy subscribers, buy views. All I do is I have a lot of time. I do a lot of driving, so I can sit and listen and watch a lot of interviews. I can read. I can Google stuff. I can sit down and look at whatever I need to look at and take my time and digest the information without being under fire, without always being under the gun, without always having to be first. So while everybody else is eager to break news or have the first thing out, I have the luxury of sitting back, hearing what is being said by the fighters, by the promoters. In this case, by one of the sanctioning bodies. Time to go back and look and quantify facts and break out my calculator and make a educated assertion once I have all the facts laid out at my disposal. And like I said the other day, man, I could go live 2 or 3 times a day, but people don't like the truth. There is no market for what I do. I got my hardcore people. That's why I call this the 300. I got my people like Melazar, who we speak the same boxing language. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Jones, one of my day one. We speak the same boxing language. AC, we speak the same boxing language. We can have our opinions. Like Melazar, he loves some he like Jake Paul, and I understand the relationship. Jake Paul is doing a lot of things for his culture, and he's doing a lot of things for Puerto Rico, so he has an affinity for Jake Paul. I don't care for Jake Paul. That don't stop Melazar from getting up here and kicking it, speaking his mind, but we still speak the same boxing language. Why? We just want to get down to the results. You know, we welcome varying opinions. We're not yes men. You don't have to agree all the time, but we are going to do that body work. AC, he like Devin. He was a diehard Devin Haney fan. I'm a diehard Tank fan. We still get up here each and every time and talk boxing. He's open to things, and he looks at things, and he puts things on the scale, and he measures it with the ruler. You know, he holds it up to the light, he inspects, he walks circumspectly around it, kick the tires on it. He don't agree with everything I say. But I noticed that it's a lot of people out here, like I said, man, they don't like the truth. And I, you know, I'm gonna say this too. I degaff about any one of these people. If you done went and got the TBV stimulus package, if you went and sat on Santa Claus lap and got the Fanon stimulus package, if you went and got the LDB, you had to join up with the LDBC or go undercover with the LDBC and, you know, go in a little get along chitlin circuit gang and link up with this person and subscribe with that and do all that ass kicking. I don't give a fuck about what you got to say about me and how you feel. If you had to go link up with anybody, if you had to subscribe and kiss ass and with your tongue out and do all kind of crazy shit to get your subs up or to make somebody think you was cool only to stab them in the back, I don't got no respect for you. I don't even respect your numbers. I started off as Michael Rogers, and before I said, dang, I should have a content name. And I was thinking, okay, Bodywork. And it wasn't that long after I first started, I switched over from Michael Rogers, my real name, to Bodywork. But I'm still Michael Rogers under the channel Bodywork. I didn't go in and get the stimulus package. I didn't go and hang from Ness Nuts. I didn't go and sit on Santa Claus lap and have to befriend no Fanon and do all of that. No, I supported him. Both of them. Super chats. Always in the comments, commenting, supporting and all that. But when people get pissed off because you disagree with them, I mean, hey, I'm not a yes man. I have my own set of thoughts, my own set of ideals. So if you did that and you think it's a stunt or a flex to be able to say, oh, look at him and look, no, I did it the hard way. Like each and every single one of my subscribers, I got him on my own, being myself. Every time I try to link up with one of these cats on YouTube, guess what they start doing? Trying to do the same thing that I did. You can go back and look. So I don't have no respect. I don't give a fuck about nobody that got nothing to say to me about whatever I got going on my channel. You know why? I never compromise. Now I never compromise. I didn't have to link up and join and go kiss nobody ass. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have to go and be a part of anything. Nothing. Nobody. That's why I don't have to compromise the things that I say. I don't have to rub balls and kiss ass. I just say what I say. I got my favorite fighters. So what? Everybody do. I got my opinions, but guess what? I base it on facts. And a lot of the people that I started off supporting, guess what? They started off, I can't say it's jealousy, but for some reason they found a problem with me before I found a problem with them. And it is what it is. So for people out here, if you ever bought a subscriber, if we know you buying your subscribers, if we know you had to go get one of these stimulus packets or go link up and subscribe to this and go donate a whole bunch of time just to get on the bandwagon, just to stab these people in the back, I didn't have to do all of that. I don't give a fuck about how you think or what you think is going on with this channel. That's a public service announcement. That is not a flex. That just means that you ain't built to do the thing that I'm doing. Brick by brick by brick. That's how I built this channel. doing my own graphics, doing my own thumbnails, coming up with my own ideas, giving everybody credit for what if I come across some stuff and I use it, I cite credit, I use sources, I give big ups, I tell you, oh yeah, I got this from there. Everybody ain't built to do that. So that's a public service now. That's some real house cleaning right there. Just to let everybody know how I get down. I've always been like a guy that's been solo. I've always went places by myself. I've always been the one that was going to turn up and say whatever I needed to say. That's why I think I've been born in this era. I could have been born with my mom, around my mom's era, but I'm born in this era for a reason. Because if I would have been born back in the day, I'd have been one of them ones that they hooked up to them horses and sent them 4 different directions. So I am who I am. I'm always comfortable in my own skin. And y'all know, legends are born in December. Shout out to all my fellow Sagittarius out there. You know what I'm saying? It's Sagittarius season. And legends are born in December, man. What can I say, man? I'm feeling good. It might get spicy. I want to have some fun, but it might get spicy. Why? Because a lot of people are getting exposed right now. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of exposure. Like, and that's why boxing ain't no fun no more. Because, like, the minute you see somebody's agenda, the minute you start hearing somebody trying to be political or being a hypocrite, it don't become fun for me. It's just like, man, just talk boxing, man. Just say you like this dude and you rock with them. And no matter what they do, you just gonna ride till the wheels fall off. That's much more respectable. But the way y'all contort yourselves in pretzels and you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. It don't make no sense, man. It don't make no sense. Cookie Monster, Sagittarius, easily baked, salute. It don't make no sense, man. The links that y'all go through. And then y'all, it's always the same play. First it be the race card, then it be like, it be like, oh, oh. First y'all say, oh man, this is so much hate. Then it be the race card, then it be, I mean, it's starting to become, y'all are starting to become too predictable out there, man. I don't know how half of y'all sleep at night, man. I just can't do it, man. I just gotta be me, man. And that's what makes me me. Not for everybody. Not everybody's cup of tea, I swear. But you never gotta worry about somebody else showing up looking like me, sounding like me, and it ain't me. You know what I'm saying? If you see something different, you know what I'm saying, you could, you know, get rid of me because you be dealing with a clone. You know what I'm saying? You would be dealing with a clone. If you ever see me doing some uncharacteristic, some Michael Rogers-esque type things, you know what I'm saying? Get rid of me, shawty. They got to me. You know what I'm saying? You dealing with a clone. I tell my lady all the time, if you ever hear me do this or that, or you see me, hey man, go ahead and put me out my misery, baby, because you dealing with a clone. You know what I'm saying? They say most people are born originals and die copies, man. That's one of my biggest fears, to die a copy. Let me get to this housekeeping, man. I just wanted to set the tone because it's going to be one of them nights, man. If you ain't ready to speak your mind, like, hey, if you ain't ready to be honest, hey, we don't need you. Number 1, Frank the Ghost Martin, looking welterweight-ish. Frank looked good. Like, I'm my first impression of Frank, man, I was happy that he was actually able to make weight. That guy Rancis Bartholomew, he cut his hair, but he was looking trim and lean. Like, oh, I was like, man, this dude look like he's taking this fight serious. Both of these guys looking like they taking the fight very serious. There was a Buddy McGirt sighting. But for me, Frank was always one of my guys, man. Frank it's hard to not like Frank Martin, man. Frank was one of the most straightforward. I think he kind of got a little bit out of character in the Tank build-up, but Tank has a tendency to get people to act like that. Like, you see how Lamont been acting. Ever since that fight and whatever, I'm like, man, Lamont, I was rocking with Lamont, but I don't even recognize this guy. You know what I'm saying? This Lamont guy, like, man, that shit go to your head. You know, I still support him. You know what I'm saying? Especially being from the DMV, man. I still support him, but god damn. When you get in that Tank limelight, man, something happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, like, people be getting up outside their body when it come to being around Tank. But Frank, he got a little bit out of his element in the build up. You know, I was like, man, Frank, why you talking like that, dog? Why you acting like that, dog? That's not you, Frank. That's not anything I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? But it sounds like Frank is back to being Frank. No pun intended. And what I noticed in his, like, the way he looked, like, weight wise, he's still muscular. Frank got that DNA. You know what I'm saying? Frank probably got that. He could probably do like that guy, Adrian Peterson, one of my favorite running backs. They say Adrian Peterson locker room used to be filled with all kind of candies and sweets and all that. He'd go in there and run your head off. And they said he had one of them handshakes that'll be debilitating. Like, he'd go to shake your hand, he'd fucking try to crush it. Like, and if you know about his running style, he can juke you, he can run you over, he can run through you. You know what I'm saying? He sought after contact. But DNA wise, you know, he was gifted to where it's like, when you got that physique, you muscular build, you could pretty much, you ain't even gotta do nothing. Like, you just gonna look built. That's the kind of style Frank has. But what I noticed in this weigh-in is that just on the outside looking in, it looks more functional. Like, you know how some people, when you see some people, they look ripped or whatever, and like some of these boxers, they get too ripped. Like Anthony Yard, he be looking a little too ripped to be a boxer. Like, it's too much. It's like, damn, like, you kind of gotta, it's a couple other cats that's built like that, and it's like, for boxing, I mean, you look phenomenal, but it's not functional. So Frank still look cut, but it looked more functional on him. Like, it looked like he used to bulk up too much. But I can't say Frank still kind of looked. I was looking at him, man. I was looking at his face, and I mean, he might as well just go ahead and go to 47, man. You got the skills, bro. And being a shorter fighter, man, that can, like, especially with your style, just like with Tank, being shorter is not always to your detriment. Now, if you don't know how to fight that way, if you're not athletic, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't really got no real skills, yeah, like the height and the reach can be a deficit if you're fighting a guy that knows how to fight behind a jab and fight with his height. You know what I'm saying? But like, for a shorter guy, I know me, all of the toughest fight, I've said this before, all of the people that I've had the most problem with been a little shorter than me. I don't know why. I'd rather fight somebody that's taller, longer. Like, all the fight, like, anybody that's like been shorter, like short, stocky motherfuckers, like, they be the hardest ones. You know what I'm saying? But if you know how to fight to your advantage, being a shorter guy, you know what you're doing, man, it can be to your advantage. So he still, you know, he look good. He talking right. He talking the way Frank used to talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything outside of the whole Tank build up, he's sounding the same way that he was sounding. Down to earth guy, you know what I'm saying? Very practical guy. He remind you of Blue Collar, even though he looking a little Hollywood with the jewelry and all of that, you know what I'm saying? But like, when I look at him, man, I'm thinking, man, the man need to just go ahead and go to 47. I'm hearing this rumblings between him and Keyshawn. And I would like that, because I was one of them ones that said, and people thought I was hating. A couple people thought that I was hating, but I'm like, man, I'm just going by what I see. When when Keyshawn was in that build up for the De Los Santos fight, I seen a picture, and it was him, Tiger Johnson, and that guy Avius Griffin. And Keyshawn looked bigger than both of them. But guess what? Tiger just moved to 147, and Avius Griffin been at welterweight. And everybody was thinking that, oh man, because I'm pro Tank, that I was just like trying to throw shade on Keyshawn. I'm like, no, I'm looking at my eyeball. Like, the dude need to just go ahead and go to 47. He'll probably feel better. And that's been something that's been on me here lately. Like, in 2025, man, with these guys moving up to the divisions where they should be, like they're fighting better. I cannot help but reiterate that when you get to your normal weight class, yeah, it's more of a challenge because them guys probably are thumping harder. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how high you go, they might get a little slower. They might, but they are punching harder, and yeah, they might have more punch resistance. But guess what? You'll be punching harder. Why? You'll have more energy. Your punch resistance will go up. Why? Because you won't be depleted. You'll have all your bodily fluids. You'll be functional. You won't be lethargic. Because all it takes is for you not to rehydrate, right? Because they say, like, yeah, the weight cut be tough. But like anything, if you're used to starving yourself and doing things to look a certain way and be a certain way, that's the part. But when sometimes you don't put it back on right. And when you don't put it back on right, guess what happened? If we go by what Frank say, I don't really like talking about it because people are gonna take it and run away and take away from the fighter who was able to stop him, but he said he lost his legs. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these guys need to get to their weights. But I'll move on, man. I got positive vibes going out to Frank, man. Ransom look like he's in hell of a shape. He looked bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, man. I think that's gonna be a good one. But Frank saying he gonna show more of his athleticism. Buddy McGirt saying if he use half or a quarter of what they've been working on, he's gonna be more than all right. You know what I'm saying? And I was reminded that Buddy McGirt was training with Antonio Tarver. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the family tree. That's probably why I'm like, man, I hope Antonio Tarver, and salute to him for getting into the Hall of Fame. But probably why I've been wanting Antonio Tarver to get a shake at the dice, man. They're coaching some of these guys, man. I don't know why y'all don't call up Antonio Tarver, man. He was the one that, you know what I'm saying, pretty much upset the apple cart when it came down Roy. Who was gifted athletically, and Antonio Tarver, he was athletic, you know what I'm saying, strong, but Antonio Tarver had that technique. He had that technical, he was, you know what I'm saying, he could talk that noise too. He was, you know, he was just something else, man. So I'm happy for him, but like, yeah, Buddy McGirt reminded that he was training Antonio Tarver. Buddy McGirt is going to be behind Frank in this fight, so I do look forward to some of these wrinkles that Frank keep talking about. He's saying he gonna get to be in his bag. He get to be more of himself. He also doubled down on the fact that anybody thinking that him and Derek, it was anything negative in them parting ways, he's like, I want to smash and crush all of that. They ain't have nothing to do with that. They ain't have nothing to do with that. So he reiterated and doubled down, man, basically to show respect for him and Derek, you know what I'm saying, which was glad. So I'm happy for Frank, man. I got lofty goals for Frank, man, at 40, man. Him and Tito Mercado, man, at 140. I mean, I think Frank might need to go ahead and go to 147, but you know, it has been a layoff. But maybe if he make weight the right way, maybe he won't look like that. He won't look so gaunt with their eyes be looking like it's about to pop out their skull. I don't like seeing fighters like that because all it takes for them to not be able to rehydrate the way they're supposed to, and they could, you know what I'm saying, and they're not going to look right. They're not going to be them full self. They're not going to have all their energy, you know what I'm saying, all of their punch resistance. You know, they're not going to be as active, and the gas tank is going to go very fast. But we're going to see. Frank is going to answer a lot of questions. I do want to address the fact that I see this in the comment sections, and I think we got to stop this, man. And part of this is part of the PBC slander. You know what I'm saying? Because I noticed that they do this. Somebody said, wow, after one loss, he's already on the prelims. I'm like, hold on, man. It wasn't just the loss. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, we getting ready to be in 2026, right? This is the last month of 2025, right? And he barely make it. But if we was to go one more month, we would be in what? We would be in 2026. When did he fight? When did he last fight? So over the time, Cool Boy kind of like had to go through the same thing, man. When he had the loss, it wasn't just that they lost. It was like they took all of this time off, man. They're not going to bump somebody that's been active, that's been on the rolls. And like, no, like, you know what I'm saying? You kind of lose your place in the level of activity. So yeah, we got to knock it off and be more sensible, man. Like he didn't get put down on the prelims just because of a loss. He got put down on the prelims because he lost, and then he took damn near almost 2 years off. For a guy that never had a title, you know what I'm saying? He's been in one division. Like, what do you expect? This is not just a PBC thing. That's just common sense, man. You got to build the person back up. You got to let them, you know what I'm saying, go back through the motions and go back through the process. You don't just pick up right where you left off all the time unless you like lose, get knocked out, get dropped, get stopped, whatever. Then you get back in the gym, and then like 3 months later you back. Then yeah, you know, but you still might fall. But if you go take 2 years off, there's been people that didn't take 2 years off that's been fighting, so they're gonna naturally take precedence over him. It's okay. The best thing he need to do is get back in the ring, get his feet wet, get a victory under his belt. Preferably look good doing it. He'll be right back. It ain't nothing to be all up in arms about. And plus, it'll be motivation for Frank to not go out there and lay an egg. You know what I'm saying? So, comprehensively, that's all I had on Frank, for real. Second one. Who is Shakur Stevenson? I don't know. You know, I kind of said, you know, Mike, I'm going to lay off of Shakur because he's actually doing something I wanted him to do. And who am I, right? I'm Bodywork, right? Other than Bodywork, who am I? Michael Rogers, right? Yeah. Who am I to have any kind of expectations of any of these boxers? Right? Who am I? In the grand scheme of things, to these boxers, nobody. Let them tell it, right? I just been watching. Right, I've been watching, and I've been, you know, I kind of like certain fighters, and I always kind of like. Ever since I seen Shakur, I like Shakur, and I call him the definition in my boxes to watch. That was his nickname that I gave him in my boxes to watch. The definition. He's the definition of boxing to me. When I seen him in his style, especially in his younger years, like the hit and not get hit, he embodies that. Over time, I grew watching him and seeing his interviews, and I liked the way he was talking, and I kind of like thought I was seeing the maturation of him, and then it got to a certain point in time where things started changing. I don't know if it was like living, like, you know, that what was that Jennifer Hudson song? 'Cause I don't like living under yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like he kind of felt like that. Like, he got tired of living in the shadows of another fighter. And that's when I came out with that Dark Vader thing, and I was like, man, the dark side. Like, it was a while ago. It was like right before I saw it. Like, it was like right before the De La Santos. A couple months before that De La Santos, I was like, man, Shakur's kind of he's looking and sounding kind of different. You know, like Dark Vader-ish. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went to the other side or something. I couldn't put my finger on it. And in time, I've been watching and listening to Shakur, and I just been like, man, who is this guy? I don't really know him. Like, I don't know any of them for real. I just know that over the years, like, and when you've been doing content and you've been watching, and like, and a lot of times I've been out here on YouTube fighting a good fight for Shakur. Like, outside of like the wars with him and Tank, like when it came down to him and Devin and Bill and all that crazy stuff that was going on, and how some of these content creators like putting them in drag, and they came out and tried to disown him when he said he was half Puerto Rican. I was fighting a good fight for him. And so it got to a point in time where I was like, man, I don't even know, like, who like, why am I on here putting stakes in the ground for this guy? I don't even know. Like, I don't agree with, I started not agreeing with a lot of the moves and a lot of things he was saying in the behavior. So I fell back. And so I kind of said, you know what? Just like with Devin taking on that Brian Norman, I said, oh, okay, all right, I can lay off for Devin. I still made my pick I still made my pick because of who I thought Brian Norman was, and thinking that Devin didn't learn from his past mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I ate crow from that. I started looking at the Shakur and the T.O. thing, understanding that, man, this is good for boxing. Why? Because T.O.'s getting a payday that he deserved. Definitely the level of competition, you know, is up there. So I was like, man, Shakur's going to a weight class where I think he's supposed to be. I think Shakur, he be trying to say he's a lightweight and all that. Like, no, you just still good at making weight and all of that. You're not the biggest guy in the world, but you supposed to be at 40. Just like Keyshawn and Frank, they supposed to be at welterweight. You supposed to be at 40. So you fighting where you're supposed to be. You just have a knack to be able to make the weight, and you can do it because you don't get big as a house in between your fights. That's the reason why. But you should be at 40 based on your skills and the level of competition that we should be seeing you against. This is just the tip of the iceberg for Shakur. Not saying he's not accomplished, because he's very accomplished. But this is where you get to see the predator type things when you're going up against people that's just as skilled with the same dimensions, you know what I'm saying, and experience as you. You know, so I kind of fell back from him, you know what I'm saying, like laid off of him, because I went over the timeline, you know, a while ago. We went over whether or not he should have left Top Rank when he was getting ready to leave Top Rank. We arrived over there, smoke session. We arrived at a conclusion that no, he should not have. You know what I'm saying, at the time when he left. But we went down the timeline. I said, you know what? Shakur's finally making a move that I totally agree with. He shut me up with making this move to fight T.O. Like, what can you say? I can't criticize him. I'm happy. I'm excited. I have anticipation. And there was a couple other times when he did it. Like when he was getting ready to fight Frank, I was like, okay, here we go. When he was getting ready to fight Frank, just like everybody else, it was okay when he was getting ready to fight Frank Martin, because that was going to be a good scrap. And then when that didn't happen, and then Frank went to go fight Tank, they said, oh, Tank don't fight nobody. Just like all the other double standards. But he came out and he did an interview here recently, you know, with Cigar Talk. And in my opinion, man, like anytime you got a dude that's calling your grandfather pop, like you just sitting down with a family member. You didn't ask this man about his hand situation. You asked him shit about what the real fans want to know. You just basically sat down on the couch with your homeboy and y'all role played the script, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You probably talked that shit over the phone a couple times and say, all right, go here, go there. And some of them answers seem pretty mature from Shakur. You know, it was a level of mystique, you know, where he was acting like he was trying to hold certain things close to the vest and all of that. I mean, which is cool. Of course, he gave big bro Bud, he gave him his credit, gave him his salutes, his flowers, whatever you want to call it. But I didn't really gather much from it other than, you know, how can I word this? A calculated Jedi mind trick type way to still push forward this dumbass narrative. Like he's really been chasing this one guy, and that now somehow, some way, I mean, I guess it almost like how the Tooth Fairy, you know how the Tooth Fairy work? Like, you know what I'm saying? I know back when you know, everything I know about the Tooth Fairy, you go lay down, right? You let your folks know, hey, look, man, my tooth thing came out. They're like, oh, well, put it under your pillow. Maybe the Tooth Fairy might come. You know what I'm saying? So you go, you lay down, and then you go to sleep. You wrap it up. You might put it in a little plastic bag, and then when you get up, mysteriously, it might be a couple dollars under your pillow. But something happened. When you was off in La La Land, something happened, and all you know is your tooth is gone, but then you got a couple dollars. But somehow, some way, I don't know where it happened, but it was like some Tooth Fairy shit. All of a sudden, this man saying he the face of boxer. I don't know. Like, are we still off in La La Land? I'm like, what happened? Like, is it because of, is it like the Council of Nicaea? Like when motherfuckers got together and established that it was a hypostatic union, and JC, who he was like a group of people that sat down in the conference and said that, yeah, this is what he did. Yeah, he came at this time and he rose and he, you know, and they came up with the, like, is that what happened? Like who got together and said this man was the face of boxing? Like what? Because people get out there and say, oh yeah, because like who established that? Was it ticket sales? Was it numbers? Was it the fact that every time somebody do a video, an interview, they gotta mention Shakur? Like that's not that guy in my opinion. But I don't know. But that's all I ever get. So I'm like, okay, I know what I used to see. I know that Shakur that was down at 126 and 130 was a cold motherfucker. He'll make you miss, and then goddamn it, he gonna make you pay. He might take a couple rounds to figure you out, be a little bit cautious, but once he start letting them hands go, it is a wrap. I have not seen that guy. Just like T.O. That explosive one punch, if he catch you slipping, if he catch you in the turning lane, he gonna put your lights out. Hadn't seen him since 35. This fight is gonna tell us a lot. It's gonna tell us a whole bunch about both of these guys. But the point in time when Shakur became the face of boxing, the point in time when he was chasing Tank, like the point in time, like I don't recall, like was I sleeping? I still got all my teeth. I do got a couple dollars, but did I miss something? Who is he? And sitting down doing these soft ass interviews from your homeboys, that don't do nothing for us. Getting all frustrated because people who watch boxing, like let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck about no industry plants neither. Like just because somebody sat you down in the studio and gave you a mic and then use their relationship to get you to get in front of these guys, I don't like. What does that mean to us? Some of us been sitting out here watching boxing and doing content for like 5, 6 years, 7 years. Like knowing the ins and outs, reading the articles, watching the fights, knowing who and when and the circumstances, being able to tell you more than just their last fight. I know Shakur only fans who couldn't even tell me who he got a belt from, but will argue with you tooth and nail about it. I'm like, you don't even know who this dude is. You haven't even been there, but you an only fan now. Right. But that don't do nothing for us. These dudes that been inserted and implanted just to be able to ask these questions, who go online, steal other people's content ideas, and then just regurgitate that shit to these boxers. Oh, well, yeah, because in the comments, yeah, man, listen, man, because the narrative is, like, no. You don't even know what's going on. You don't even know the pulse to be able to ask the right questions and make the dude feel comfortable. Brian Custer do a good job at it. But again, Brian Custer actually be watching boxing, and he's been around. Like he had to. It's part of his job. Eureka! Not these people who moonlighting because they've been put in certain positions to ask questions. They supposed to get all this glaze and proud. Like, get the fuck out of here. That don't do nothing for nobody. You get a couple dollars in your pocket. You get a couple numbers. Ooh, okay, cool. Some of us been around like that, know this boxing shit. Eat, breathe, and shit this boxing shit. You mean to tell us that what we say and how we look at this shit don't got, not the people that be out here gaslight, but the people that really be out here doing justice by these guys? Because again, I don't even talk about their personal lives. I keep it inside the ring, and as it needs to go outside the ring, I might touch on it. I don't even really be pocket watching. Eureka! But I know what's going on. I could tell you what happened in almost all of these fights, especially if I fuck with you. I could tell you if somebody was moving funny, if somebody did you wrong, all of that. I'm still trying to figure out, like, Shakur is going to show us inside the ring who he is at this point in time in his career. Right? But I'm more curious to know the reason why he didn't fight anymore this year, the reason why he was so prone to be able to fight Lamont, but then he really didn't pursue Tank Davis. Y'all can say all that lip service and all that, but he went and signed elsewhere. When he was asked about it after the Padley fight, he said, my phalanges are down bad. Then as soon as he saw the controversial decision, the draw with Lamont and Tank, he said he wanted to fight Lamont right away. I was like, ay. Yo no comprende. And I was trying to ask all the Shakur only fans, and they know speaking the English. So I don't know who he is. You know what I'm saying? I thought I knew. I know what I've been seeing. I know what I've been following along for these couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we gonna find out when he fight Teofimo Lopez. We gonna find out who Teofimo Lopez really is. He talking about beating. If he beat Shakur, he gonna try to jump up and try to fight Bud at 160 or some shit like that. Like, precedence has been set. I just got to keep my eyes on the prize and keep my fingers crossed that fight actually get across the finish line. Both fighters make weight, and I can't wait for them to go ding, 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 and they coming out their corners. But I didn't gather shit from that interview that he just did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't gather shit from the Wally Moses interview either. And I like Wally, man. I think Wally is a cold dude, but all I got was a bunch of hating, a bunch of bullshit. Like all these people do when they get a mic in front of their phone, in front of their faces, do a whole bunch of hating. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody can fill me in on it. You know, lastly, Mario Barrios, Ryan Garcia. They saying that's gonna go down on February the 21st, 2026. 2026 is looking real lit. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be lit in 26, according to everything that's on the docket. But just like people pop hot, people miss weight. It's a lot of things that can happen in between now and when these fight dates are slated. But everybody, you know what's funny? Everybody's hyped about this Ryan Garcia. Like, all these people coming out the woodworks and they saying it. Why? Because they're getting behind it. I'm gonna tell y'all why they're getting behind it. They're getting behind it because they want to see Devin fight Ryan. But like all of a sudden, all the Osterring talk and all of the Ryan ain't shit and all of that shit went away for a dude who has never had a belt. Never had a belt. But the dude who stopped him already, he don't get no credit. The dude who stopped the dude who he might relieve of a strap, he stopped that dude to the body. But the dude who stopped both of these dudes don't get no credit. It's all this hype for Ryan Garcia. And guess what? They got Connor Ben, another guy who had an egg situation. But there's really no more outrage about all of that. A guy whose claim to fame was jumping up to 60, depleting a guy in Eubanks who should be fighting at 68 for no title now. Splitting at that with this dude. 1-1. He gets to wait in the wings for the winner. And guess who's sanctioning this? The WBC. Where is the outrage? Where's the outrage? There is none. Why? Because there's a lot of fake ass outrage out here by the WBC. There's a lot of narrative painting out here about the WBC. See, people want to pick and choose when they decide they want to be outraged about PEDs. They want to be outraged about sanctioning bodies and who gets title shots and all this. Because I remember a whole demographic pitching a hissy fit because Gary Antoine Russell suffered a close loss to Alberto Puello and then got another shot with El Rayo and relieved him of his strap. But guess what? They didn't say nothing. Nothing. That same demographic, they didn't say nothing when Alberto Puello lost his because of what was deemed as a PED. But that PED was because allegedly he wanted to have a child. Now him and the lady went ahead and had the child, and then he got another shot against Gary Antoine, and that's when he got a strap. But when Gary Antoine right away went back and got a title shot with El Rayo, they was offended and had so much to say. So they have nothing to say. They had everything to say when Ryan beat the shit out of Devin about the Osterring and the levels and the contamination and all of that. For like a whole year. Like even to this day, they still talking about it. That was April Fools. That was April of 2024. April Fools is what I called it. When Devin had no business going to go play in the sandbox with Ryan. Why? Because there was other champions at 140 who had straps who he ducked and dodged all around. Even when Puello won that strap, when Puello won that strap, he didn't run it with him. When Sandor Martin, who Puello went on to fight, who was an inherited mandatory, who had already had common ground for damn near pretty much, like, he pretty much beat Tio. He didn't run that. But he went and played in the sandbox with Ryan. Instead of fighting Subriel, instead of fighting Tio, instead of fighting Rolly at the time. He went and played in the sandbox with Ryan. So everybody was outraged about the Osterring situation. He goes his year. Devin sits out for a year. They come back. They celebrated when Rolly beat Ryan as if they did. I didn't understand it. They shit their pants when Mars said, hey, Rolly, go fight Devin. They called that man a drunk. They slandered that man. They said, oh, this and this and that. So then they go and do their thing against Jose Ramirez. A lot of people say they stunk up the joint. He goes and redeems himself by fully jumping up, relieving the young Brian Norman, the Assassin 2, of his strap. And guess what? They want to fight Rolly. Rolly's trying to get an exemption from Giasov. 3 mandatories Giasov been through. Because he was a Stanianis mandatory, he was a Boots mandatory, and now Rolly, he's a mandatory for him, and they're looking for an exception for that. But that's the guy that they want. Meanwhile, Conor Ben, who ain't did shit really at 47, but after the egg situation, he jumps up, he's going to come back down, he get to wait in the wing for Ryan to get a title shot coming off of a loss to Rolly. There is no outrage. Why? Because it's fake. People are exposed. People just hate Tank. That's just what it is. So I've been following the bouncing ball all along, if you couldn't tell, man. And before I get off into it, this other fake ass outrage and start peeling back the multiple layers to this onion with this Bud situation and Mauricio Sulaimán, man. I just wanted to point this out, man, because boxing is wild right now. So we can focus on it, we can keep it boxing, and we can try to, be on the up and up and try to encourage the fighters who are doing what they're supposed to do. Or we can get off into some old gangster shit. If you really want to talk this boxing talk, and we can get off into this, because a lot of the shit that we hearing, man, that's the power that be. There are talking points that's being rehearsed. There are agendas that's out here, and it just depends on how you want to get paid right now. Because right now, people are saying damn near anything to get a like, to get a click, to get a view, and they're not really being honest about what's going on. So that's my goal today. I did want to have some fun and really have it open after we bust this whole thing down that's going on with Bud and Sulaimán, in my perspective or our perspective. Then we can have some fun if y'all want to. If not, we can get off into some more gangster shit, like I said before. If you really, really want it, because I see it's a lot of y'all that keep coming back. I don't even know why. I think y'all are lost. I think you lost. Like when you keep coming over, if you know I don't fuck with you, and you keep coming over there, and every time I post something or whatever, like one of my surveys, you got something to say, but you never click the link, you lost, brother. You lost. There are plenty of times when the link be out there, man, where you can really get up here and get it off your chest, but you don't do that. It's almost like you got stalker-like tendencies, bro. Like you might be lost. So the opportunity will be afforded to you if that's what you want. What's going on, AC? You pulled the grill out tonight, Bodywork, because you cooking with lighter fluid and them coals. Yeah, I'm trying, Cookie Monster. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying. I don't know what AC must be taking a break or something, man. Trying not to move on, but I will. I definitely will. You there, AC?
Yeah, bro. I didn't see my avatar on the screen, so I was like, okay.
Oh. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, there's some things I wanted to cook on. I'm in the same boat with you as far as trying to figure out who Shakur is, but there were some telling things that Shakur said for me that I like automatically made an eyebrow raise, and that was number one where he was saying, yeah, him and his grandfather are a lot alike, but they differ sometimes in their opinion. You feel what I'm saying, or their approach, but the mindset of him and his grandfather is pretty much he's saying is almost exactly the same. So if you watch the other interview with his grandfather at this stage, I'm just talking about at this stage, concerning this fight, you can kind of see where Shakur was raised in a way that says like this: don't ever put yourself down for another person because they not you. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gonna let this joint pass real quick.
Okay. Yeah. I'm rocking with it. I'm rocking with that. I get it to a certain extent too.
So basically, what I'm saying is like this: if this is your mindset, I'm a person who adopted my own mindset in the fact that I beat out a million plus other motherfuckers to get here. So there was something special about me from insemination. You feel what I'm saying? And I came out this joint by myself, and I'll be put in the ground by myself. Anyone who comes in my circle, either I'm sharing something with you or you're sharing something with me if we're gonna coexist like that. So at the end of the day, I get that mindset. That's a mindset I wanted to instill with my son, but I was also telling them the best weapon you have if you want to win the crowd at mostly is your humility. You display that humility, and then when it's time to show your confidence, not cockiness, but your confidence in what you've already laid down, then you go ahead and you lay that shit down, and don't let nobody take none of that shit from you, because you did that. Not them, not the people who talking shit about you. You did that. So I get that part. The other parts where you saying you the face of boxing, I think you finally understood to a certain degree a part of the social media thing. Because now if anybody says that, all your OnlyFans are gonna say, why are you hating on Shakur? Tell me a person who's more this, more that, more this. That's Bud's little brother. Of course he should be the face of boxing. If y'all gonna say Bud was, of course Shakur should be, because you just seen Shakur and Bud at the last thing when Bud was telling Shakur, are you gonna sign a joint and all of this other stuff. So at the end of the day, he put it out there. So now the Shakurians and the OnlyFans have their marching orders. It was encoded. So now here it is. Everybody gonna be talking about leading up. If Shakur win this fight, I'm telling y'all, he the face of boxing. And can't nobody tell me nothing different, because at the end of the day, look at who he just beat. That was Teofimo Lopez, but his grandfather don't want to give Tio any credit. Y'all, you tried to say Tio was X, Y, and Z when y'all was coming up, but if anybody saw you they would say you way different and all of this other stuff. So for me, it was like I kept on watching it. I'm watching it, and I'm like, you say one good thing, and then you remove that good thing you just said. Now you on to the next good thing you say, and now you remove that good thing.
I got something to ask when you have a break, but when
you can go ahead with that.
I got a question for you.
I
got a question for you. Because now it kind of makes sense now. Like, think about this. T.O. is one of them guys where you can get into your head. So is it a little bit of mental gymnastics?
I think so.
Because they know T.O. is gonna he's gonna read the newspaper clippings. He's gonna watch this stuff. He's gonna, and T.O. with all this time. I mean, it's it's a little time, about a month and a half, a little bit more than a month and a half left. It's close to 2 months almost, and he's gonna have a lot of time. There's gonna be a lot of things to say, and if he's caught up in what they're saying and why y'all not respecting me now and all this, and get him to, because T.O. is one of them guys. If you can get up here, you got him.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit of gamesmanship on that part. You know what I'm saying? Like,
make you think the guy you're getting ready to face is unbeatable because he's already inherently the next face of boxing. He is the best thing in boxing. So it falls into that thing of, in my opinion, music. You first heard a song and you like, this shit is garbage. But everybody else is telling you, yo, that shit is the joint. You ain't hear it in the club. It's like, nigga, I was standing next to you and I still thought it was garbage. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just driving at work, you stuck in traffic and shit like that. And it's like every 20 minutes, or it seemed like every 10 minutes, the radio station is playing that song. So the first time you're like, oh my God, they playing the song again. Let me find a new station. Now you can't find no station that ain't playing that song. So you just say, you know what, fuck it. Then you play it, and because you so bored in traffic, you start nodding your head to it, and you just start fucking around in your car, bouncing in the seat and all of that. Next thing you know, you're like, yeah, I kind of feel that song. It's catchy. And then once it goes from catchy, next thing you know, yeah, I fucks with it, it's fire. So it's the slow creep of the consistency and persistence. If every time you put out, you turn on your computer and you go to a social media page and someone's talking about Shakur being the face of boxing, he's this guy, he's that guy, then you're gonna start to ask yourself, what if I lose to this guy? He's supposed to be so good. What if he just got that much better from the last time we sparred and shit like that from the amateurs? And now, because he is working with Terrence Crawford. And I just saw Terrence Crawford beat Canelo. Oh my God. And I hope T.O. is way, way stronger than that to be like, none of that shit really matter because none of them niggas is me. And that's what kills all of that. If you just adapt that mentality, everything that they're saying is done. And it'll never fuck with you because it's like, yeah, them niggas was whatever, but they ain't me. I'm different.
I think he got a little bit of that because I seen the interview with him. He's like, man, they got they want to be buddies and rule and box. He's like, that's not how boxing works. He's like, yeah, I see people and yeah, I'm cordial and I'm this. He's like, but like to rule along, like think that they're gonna go basically down a yellow brick road together. You know what I'm saying? Like Dorothy and the Lion and Tin Man, like in this rule boxing. He's like, that's not how boxing works. Yeah. And so he's like, I'm not like that. He's like, he basically said, I want to beat Shakur and then go up and try to beat Bud
beat his big brother and shit.
Yeah. So I think, see, it can work in reverse. So they can if T.O. let it and he don't have the right people reinforcing it, like he can get in his own head, but it can also be a motivator where he turn up thinking that the magnitude of this fight, like everything is all up against me, and make himself rise up. And that's the kind of T.O. that I don't think they want to do it. So it's gonna come down to fight night in which T.O. I always thought that it when I looked at it, Shakur should be able to beat him based on his fundamentals and he play his game. But I think that the outcome of this fight is heavily based on which T.O. shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, and he will
turn up, and I don't deny the caliber of fighter that T.O. was. Like, because I used to be a big fan of T.O. So
Yeah, same here. So, and you know, on to Frank Martin. For me personally, I did enjoy the interview. I'm gonna say it like this. It seemed as though he was saying he's only looking for maybe 1 or 2 fights at 140, and then he's trying to go up to 47. If that's his goal, cool. I have no issues with that. I'm a person that also believes Shakur belongs at 47. I just think, you know, for me, it's like you can go up and make a statement, and making a fight with T.O. is a statement. But just like I was trying to have this conversation with another dude, it was just like, you know, if you wanted to make that statement, that kick in the door, wave in the 4-4 type shit, all you heard was Shakur, don't hit me no more type shit.
Yeah.
You go up there and you beat Gary Antoine or you beat Sabril, and then you spin it back for unification, and then you take T.O.'s belt. That's for me. You're looking at the two, you know, these two guys, and I'm just like, for me, I'm happy you took you made the T.O. fight. But for me, the real statement is going after one of them and then really showing, because you saying, I don't know what I'm going to do after the T.O. fight. Like, the T.O. fight is the only tough fight at 140. And that's the part I'm having a little issue with, because it's like, okay, so if you saying you don't know what you're going to do, it don't sound like you confident in looking at the other champions. Looking to your left and your right and see who's there and who I'm gonna beat the fuck up next. So I'm just a little sketchy on that. And when we talking about the weight and stuff like that, pertaining when you was talking about Frank, the most revealing thing, and if someone was to ask me, you know, what was the most surprising thing about Devin Haney in a Brian Norman lead up and then the fight and everything, part of it is I'm gonna say, well, listen, you can go to these channels and hear what I had to say about him going to 47. But the most telling thing and the surprising thing was his open admission that he had no business at 35, nor really at 140, because he kept on saying over and over again, because of the weight cut, I had to modify my training and certain things that I was doing. And when I wanted to have tough days, it felt like, to me, I was leaving it all in the gym before I got in the ring. So I'm just like, okay, wow, he was open with that. That is shocking that a fighter at that level, or perceived to be at that level, would have that type of open admission, and no one's really talking about it. They just like, oh yeah, we all knew Devin was way too big for 35, but we didn't want to say nothing. Yeah, because at the end of the day, he was down at 35 way too long, but I understand he wanted to accomplish some shit. So you was killing yourself down there to try to get it. Regis, that weight cut, that 5-pound difference wasn't enough. Not enough. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, that's where it was. And the outrage with the WBC, I'm going to say it like this. People laugh when Sulaimán outed Canelo about the franchise belt. He said he petitioned me for that belt. Mm-hmm. We put it out there. You feel what I'm saying? We said we would like him to represent the belt, but he never got back to us. But then he petitioned for it. And it's like, oh, okay. So you had your little spell with trying to fuck up boxing with your weird ass belt and shit like that. You robbed Teofimo Lopez, or Loma, and you robbed Teofimo Lopez of his rightful place of saying, yeah, that's the undisputed champion. I'm going to stay 10 toes down on that. Because to give up the belt, but to Dev to get the franchise belt and then go fight Tio, that shit made no sense. It made no sense. So for me, it's like there was no outrage for that. There was no outrage when Canelo told Sulaimán when they tried to mandate. I believe that was either Mal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade. One of them two dudes, the WBC tried to mandate Canelo to fight, and he was like, "Fuck your belt. I'll drop this shit." And Sulaimán immediately makes the statement and says, "You know what? Canelo's a great champion. He should have the leverage and liability to do what he wants because there is nobody else out there like you just literally." That dude told you "fuck you" to your face. He literally wrote it and said "fuck you," and then you turned around, got on your knees, put on some MAC lip gloss, and kissed this nigga ass. Not on the right cheek, not on the left cheek, but in the middle. And I was just like, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. That is, but it was just kind of over the boxing people's head because they was like, some people were like, yeah, that's right, Canelo, you did the right thing. You stood up for justice. Yeah, fuck Sulaimán, yada, yada, yada. Who the fuck Sulaimán think he is? But we were like, yeah, but Sulaimán just tried to make a relevant fight. And y'all saying, fuck that. It's not about sanctioning fees or nothing like that. It was about a mandatory. And y'all said Sulaimán was wrong and Canelo was right over a mandatory. Now, fast forward, it's Sulaimán versus Bud. Bud know he been paying these sanctioning fees. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the only belt that he was ever stripped for was the IBF. The WBC, no. The WBA, no. Or the WBL, no. He was only stripped by the IBF. So that means he never had an issue with them. So what is it? You have to say, well, does Oscar have a point there that you might be acting in a role of a plan to help Turk launch his own belts in his series with TKO? Because as an ambassador and they put all that money in your pocket, listen, grass cash your ass, nobody rides for free. So is it plausible? Is it a conspiracy theory that has some legs to it? Yes. Am I fully gonna embrace it? No, but I'm not gonna tell nobody, oh, you bullshitting if they come out with that argument. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I get it. On the appearance of it, that's how it looks. That's how it looks. But we have a history of fighters talking about sanctioning fees that go back to the 90s. But now we in the social media era. Now it's relevant. Now it's from Bud Crawford, the guy who just beat Canelo, the guy who beat Errol Spence. He jumped up 2 divisions. If he talking about it, then, hey, listen, the whole boxing world needs to be aware of this. But then I asked the question, hey, Turk, when you start giving out your belts for TKO, are there any sanctioning fees on that belt? What fees go with that belt that you're going to be giving out, or those belts you're going to be giving out for TKO? As far as I know, with the ring and lineal champ, there's never been a sanctioning fee on that, because that was more of a recorded designation. Mm-hmm. Do you feel what I'm saying? It's not something that started out at the time of the WB, the WBC, or the IBA, or those early companies when you only had 1 and 2 belts. That came much later. I believe like 20, almost 30 years later, when they started to calculate that and say, you know what? Let's follow the lineage of who won what, who beat this guy, and he was this guy, and he was this guy, and he was this guy. It's a stat that you get an award for. So at the end of the day, man, it's to say that's the belt that matters now. It may have some legs, but it's the way the sanctioning company moved, and their moves that make that WBC belt, or I mean that Ring Magazine belt, as according to Bud and many other boxing fans that say no, only the lineal, the ring type deal. That's the real shit, because you beat the man, who beat the man, who beat the man, who beat the man. Okay, cool. I can't be bribed. I can't be bought. There's no ranking system for that. I get it. So it gives it a whole lot of legs, because you just got to beat the man to beat the man. But now we're looking at this, and I'm going to say this, and this is where I'm going to land. If that's the argument you choose to make with me, justify Jerome Boots Ennis versus Stanley as being a Ring Magazine belt. And that's where I'll leave it.
It did a lot. It did a lot for me as far as when I started looking at it, like it's like one of them things to where you got a garment, and like right now it's just it's like a little baby string that was hanging out, and you go to pull on that string and you get to messing with it instead of just letting that little teeny, you're a perfectionist, so you go mess with it and you pull that string, and next thing you know, it's unraveling, and next thing you know, you got a big ass hole because you tugged at that one string, and it kind of like, god damn, now it's a hole. Now I gotta find this same, like it messed up the pocket, and it got you looking like, well, damn, how do they construct it? Then you start seeing more, and it's like, damn, should have just left that shit alone. Like a Mr. Bean. You ever seen Mr. Bean?
Oh hell yeah, that's my dude.
You know what I'm saying? You know how he go into a situation and it'd be like one little fucking thing. And it's like, okay, just leave it alone. Just let it ride. And then Mr. Bean, he do one thing. He go to kill a bee. And then he knocked down a candle, and the candle light the curtains on fire. And instead of just getting some water and putting it out, he tried to go out to the window to, like, it's this one thing. And that's what this whole situation did. At first I was just like, man, who gives a fuck? And then more and more information came out, and I said, hold on, man. And I got to looking at it, I said, and then everybody I was listening to was breaking it. They all had their various agendas. Like, you got a couple different demographics. You got the butthurt Canelo only fans, to where it's like, man, they like out with their knives and their pitchforks, and they just want to nail Bud every chance to get. Oh, I respect him, but then they want to nail him. You know what I'm saying? They want to nail him down to anything, and they want to put a flashlight up his ass and highlight everything. No, you got that demographic. Then you got the Bud only fans who like, yeah, man, he mean that. Yeah, that means something, man. It's like, yeah, but you only saying that now because it's Bud. And you got people like myself, like I'm in the middle. I just want to, I want to look at it. I want to kind of gauge it along with some other things that happened in the past. And only thing I can say is, like, it started off as a little bit of dirt on the rug, and now it's like, damn, what the fuck is up under this rug now? And I'm like, hold on, man. So now we've been lied to, because for one, I've said this before. So it does make me look, leaving off of where you at, it does make me look at Turkey. It does kind of lead a trail back to Turkey. And is this something that in an agenda that he's pushing, right? And he's just using Bud in this 15 minutes of fame that he got to push his agenda. And I say that because I said this a while ago. I got you. I said this a while ago. Salute, boom. I got you. I said this a while ago. It baffled me when Turkey, because it started with Turkey. You know what I'm saying? It started with Turkey, where I said it's kind of weird that Turkey picks these guys. How do he pick these guys? Turkey picks these guys because these guys, in some shape, form, or fashion, were able to build themselves up to be champions, build themselves up to be contenders. You know what I'm saying? Build themselves up to be prospects up through of various system of ranking systems. The first thing Turkey did, or got accomplished, I'm gonna say, was he got the WBA, like anything like designated with the WBA, that shit was removed off BoxRec. So now you can go back on BoxRec, and it could have been a fight that was for the WBA. It could have been a title fight, but since it's for the WBA, they removed all of that. Now we know that the connotation was just like the WBO was like what belongs, whatever Bob orders. It was the WBA. What about Al, or whatever they said, whatever the connotation was, but the WBA was always affiliated in some kind of hidden way to Al. The WBO was for Bob. Like that's just been going on. WBC, it always appeared to be one of the most prestigious belts. You know what I'm saying? The green belt. Everybody say, "Oh man, I want that green belt." Why? Because they remember certain boxers having that belt. But I always found it odd that the people that Turkey picked came up through a ranking system that was part of one of these 4 sanctioning bodies. Only for Turkey to say, "All right, now that I got you, you in my clutches, I got you in my grasp, you're the apple of my eye, fuck all the rest of the ranking system." I'm like, so that's destroying the very catalyst as to why you like these guys. You wouldn't know these guys unless they matriculated up through one of these ranking systems or several of these ranking systems. So, as an undisputed, where you getting all of your cachet, like if I move it over to Bud, you get all your cachet from being undisputed, meaning you collected them all. Just to say that this one don't mean nothing. Like that's the equity that you have. Like in having it, that was your equity, right? I've heard people try to make this into some cultural thing. Well, we know who the WBC is. We know who Sulaimán is. We already know, like they trying to make it. They trying to, and I hate when they do this. Whenever something come up like this, they try to pull this race card. And I'm like, man, that's just disgusting, man. That's irresponsible and it's disgusting. But there were other problems. Like I remember, and I was trying to find the thumbnail when you was talking. I remember I did a thumbnail, and I had a thumbnail with Devin Haney. It had Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez with one set of jogging pants, and they both was in it. It was like they was both. I was like, and I was saying, Mauricio, you got to fix this. So there was problems before where he created situations. That was the situation you alluded to, and why did he do it? He did it to collect fees. But they was okay. This is the thing. They was okay when they did it for Devin. Like when they elevated, they was okay when they was okay when they elevated Canelo Alvarez to that franchise, and he was able to avoid the Charlos and Demetrius Andrade. They was okay when they elevated him in that situation. It was cool. It was okay when they elevated Lomachenko, thereby giving Devin a belt and forcing Tio to be on the outside looking in as far as his accolade of undisputed. Why? Because it was another belt that was out there. Well, they designated that the franchise belt was higher than just the WBC champ world belt. They designated that designation delineated that there was a higher designation, like in the pecking order, that was higher. And then when Tio fought him and beat him, he didn't get. Now if you go back and watch the fight, they advertised it as undisputed. Somebody came in their ear and said, "Hey man, listen, you keep advertising that shit, Devin and them gonna be asking, well, what the fuck sanctioning fee I'm gonna be paying? Why am I paying a sanctioning fee if that's that?" So nobody was adamant about fixing that problem back then. I was one of the ones saying, "Hey man, Sulaimán, you gotta fix this." And ever since then, that's why I always acknowledge Teofimo as being one of the undisputed, because he did do that, and they created that problem. I'm like, in one breath, you can't say that designation is the highest designation, so that trumps the other ones, but still have that one be relevant. Like, no, it's just like all these interims. Like, I don't understand why. I thought an interim was when a champion was going through something, or it was a delay or something going on, so you designate this one so that when the other one come back, they got to get it on to square it up. Now they just issuing out interims like bags of candy at Halloween. But that was a problem that everybody had. They didn't have no problem when Canelo got elevated with the WBC. They didn't have no problem when Lomachenko got elevated with the WBC, and then Devin get a belt and get right in line with us. They didn't have no problem with that. They wasn't as adamant about fixing that problem. But now with some racial stuff, because Sulaimán, hey man, this man ran off on me twice. One being the magic, and so that was another thing. I was just like, hold on, man. So hold on, why they saying twice? And I was like, okay. So when I look back at it, it's saying that the Madrimov fight was for the WBO interim. So I'm like, why is he saying? Because it also gave a designation for the WBC back then when he fought Madrimov. And that's how the whole Fundora thing came into play. So I was like, oh, okay. So they saying when he won, he didn't even pay. So the thing that will put him in line, because it went on to have, if you go back to the history, when him and Fundora, because when Fundora and Spence was getting ready to get it on, Bud intervened and was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Nope, I'm here. Like, nah, y'all gotta see me. And they made a big thing. I got videos of some whack. They made a big thing and they said, no, okay, Bud, he rested on the fact that, okay, well, look, y'all can go ahead and have that fight if y'all gonna have it, but the winner gotta fight me. And that was the delineation. So I'm like, damn, so you mean to tell me, like, so that made me think back on, I'm like, so what was all that about then? So you intervened in that, but like, come to find out, you didn't pay the man for that. So I'm like, man, this don't even say. So then I'll get to looking and I get, you know me, I get to doing the math because I'm high on numbers or whatever. And I'm like, why they keep saying, what they saying 300, why they saying 300? And so I was doing the math and I was like, hold on. I said, hold on. 300 divided by 10, and I don't even like doing this. 300 grand divided by 10 mil is 0.03. So I'm like, hold on, they had a deal for 0.06. So doing backwards math or reverse math to come at an answer. So what number? So X times 0.006 equals what? No, it's X times 0.006 equals 300 grand. So you gotta divide the 0.006 on this side, divide the 0.006 on this side, you come up with 50 mil. So then I was like, hold on, man. So what? It was really 50 mil, because remember, there was a lot of credit being given, saying, oh man, this man really is chasing legacy. Remember, because they were saying, damn, man, Canelo getting like 150 or more. Like, god damn. And then Bud, man, he must really want it. That's really legacy. He only getting 10. And then he did that interview and said, hey man, I'm getting 10. And I don't normally pocket watch. But come to find out it wasn't 10. Why? Because the 0.006 times X to equal 300 is 50. So you really got 50, but you on a whole interview saying you got 10. So then I'm looking like, okay, well, I ain't no genius, but if it was the normal fee, which is 3% of the belt, you take that same 50 million times 3, that's 1.5 million. So they still gave you a discount. So I was like, man, see, this is why I don't like going down these rabbit holes, and I don't like listening to people who not gonna be thorough about talking about the topic. They just either on there like just gaslighting, I hate to say it, nigger rigging, you know what I'm saying? Like just piecing some shit together just to try to sound good, and it don't really sound good. It's like you might as well just not even talk about it. That'd be the best approach, because the more and more stuff come out, the more you be like, hold on. Wait. Then I think about it. And I said this before. I'm a businessman, right? I have a pet peeve about business. I actually have a degree in business, right? Business management, to be exact. And I'm a stickler for numbers, and I do contracts. In the last contract prior to this one that I actually had, I got pissed off and was getting ready to go upside somebody's head because they kept shorting me on my pay. And I'm like, hold on, listen, I'm the type to where we got a contract and I'm doing my part, of the contract, you got to do yours. If I find out you're not doing yours and you keep thinking it's sweet, then we're going to have a problem. I'm going to resort back to my old ways. You know what I'm saying? And I remove myself from that. I have precautions that I take. I will distance myself. I will be quiet. I'll leave you alone. I'll move out of the area. I will avoid going to a certain spot, having communication with a certain type of people, because I know how I am as a stickler for business. And I love to salute Black excellence. That's why whenever I see us and we on point and we doing business the way we should be, I always gotta commend. I always gotta acknowledge. I gotta, you know what I'm saying, give my salutes to you for doing excellent business. But I'm a stickler for it. So I don't like the fact, that's why a lot of these times they always expose who in this world is business minded and who's not. Because when it came down to Turkey coming in, I said, listen, man, y'all are so quick to outsource the work, but y'all won't do that. If they said that the call center you work at, if the hub that you work at was being outsourced to some people out there, you'd be like, hold on, man, what y'all think? You would get to looking around and you would be totally against it. But why in the sport of boxing would we so freely willing to open up arms and freely give our fighters and give all these people from across the seas, across the pond, all of this work? It's like, do you know what that entails for us over here? So that's when I started saying, like, most people who be online talking about this stuff, they don't even understand nothing about business. And when I realized that this man is basically saying, hey, I'm not paying you, fuck that, fuck the belt, this and this and that. And I'm like, well, when you running a business, and every business I've had, just like the business I have right now, anything that I gotta pay, which is under the cost of doing business, guess what it is? It's a tax write-off. So I can actually write that off. So it actually behooves me. Why? Because if I earn X amount of money, and that wasn't even disclosed, like the only reason why people even know, the only reason why I know that it's concrete is because of the math. Because before, all I thought was, I was like, damn, this dude did a noble gesture for 10 mil. But now we know the math, it was really 50 mil. Well, if we know that, then everybody else out there know that, and guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna be more prone to like dig in your kitchen closet, dig in your kitchen cabinets to see exactly what's really going on, because this is what's being reported. That's what's being reported, and now you got all these eyes on you. You know what I'm saying? Where it really would have behooved you. Why? Because any fee that you have to pay for a business that you run and own is a tax write-off. Meaning that by doing that, by paying that, you actually would get to keep more of your money. Like, you really don't lose it. You pay the fee over here, and then when it's time to do your taxes and do everything you got to do, you get to keep that. In some cases, if it's flip-flop, they got to give you money back. So I was just like, for all this stuff to come out, I'm like, man, it should have, maybe it would have been better to just be quiet, man, and handle this behind closed doors and not let the world see it. Why? Because now everybody's up your ass with a flashlight. And a lot of people that's actually talking about it are looking real hypocritical right now. Because now, just like the other day, I was saying that now they coming out saying, well, yeah, Tank said, man, fuck them belts. And it's just like, nah, we not gonna let you get away with that. Like, no, don't try to use Tank now. People, you shit on the man all the time, you know, and even going back to the thing that you said, you basically reminded me that Turkey had gave Wilder 2 Bentleys. But another double standard was when Tank was like, nah, send me 2 Ferraris. People lost their shit. I was just like, man, I can't even make this up no more. It's like, the truth be right there, but like I said, people do not like the truth. So so Turkey can give Wilder 2 Bentleys, but
one
Tank
was
say,
a
"Give me 2
custom
Ferraris
joint
and holler at me." People like, oh my gosh, and people be trying to say, oh man, no, you just be capping for Tank, you just be caping for Tank. It's like, no, I use the facts, I use things that go on, current events, people's actions, people's responses, people's hypocrisy, to justify how I feel about certain situations. And I've come to the conclusion that people will cap and cape for whoever the fuck they want to. And they will virtue signal when it comes down to shitting on Tank. You know, but aside from that, Tank been said something about these sanctioning fees. He been said something about and it wasn't just about the WBC. So this is bigger than just the WBC. But what I think Bud did in this situation was he made people shed light on things or brought attention to an area where people wouldn't even have looked under the rug or would have known about it had he just like did what he needed to do, handle business behind closed doors, and move on. Because now it's looking like he might not even be able to fight nobody if it's a sanctioned bout for that belt. And that's the other thing. These guys have to sanction a fight. Now they saying, what the fuck do we need it for? It's like, so is Turkey going to sanction? Like, he's already withdrawn and saying he ain't going to have no money. Like the money is going away. So I don't know. I said a lot, man, but you could touch on anything I said, but like all it did was pretty much make me peel back all these different layers of the onion, think about business, think about all these things. And I'm just like, man, maybe that's some shit y'all probably should have handled behind closed doors because it's not looking good. Anybody trying to justify ain't sounding and looking good right now to me.
I'm like this. There are certain aspects of business, right, that in the public eye we should never know about unless there is some other agenda behind it. And that's where you have to ask, okay, what's the agenda behind it? As far as many fighters in the past bringing out sanctioning fees and things like that, you do have a legitimate argument because at the end of the day, Sulaimán tried to say, well, you know, X, Y, and Z is for these fighters and blah, blah, blah. Then why does that have to be tied to the sanctioning fees? Why does that have to be tied to me fighting for my belt? You feel what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with if that was another fund. You feel what I'm saying? That I could or anybody could put money into, because that if you did it like that, it would ensure the boxers whatever, because there are not a lot of champs. And I mean, you can keep trying to create more belts so you can collect these fees, but then you start to look like certain states that target their drivers to generate money, and then it's like, I don't want to live in that state because I hear in that state, like New Jersey, for just to bring up something, like there was a point in the 90s, you could not be a black driver and drive in New Jersey because you're going to get stopped and you're going to get a ticket. They're going to make that ticket up, and then you got to go to court to fight the ticket or whatever. So when you look at it, it's the easiest way to generate money for whatever it is that you're doing. Now the sanctioning fees is the mob's old school way of keeping its hands in boxing, because when you kind of like really look at the sanctioning fees and stuff like that, you want me to pay for a belt. The one part that I did agree 100% with Bud was it's a fucking trophy. You won't
a trophy.
All of that money for a fucking trophy.
It is a trophy, but see, the thing is, I think where they got it was, and this is the comfortable medium, because it's they saying it was supposed to be 3%, right? Yeah. Now I think that's okay. 3%, that's okay. Most of the time, people are dealing with it like one time. Most of the time, people are dealing with one, maybe two, if they unify. They're dealing with 3%. The thing is, the problem is once you start making a certain amount, like what they should probably do is like it's 3% or a flat fee of X if you above this amount to make it comparable. So, because this is what I was trying to say, people didn't understand
for inflation type shit, basically.
Yeah, like it's 3% up until you make anything more than 15 million. Like it's a flat fee of this, and in increments of 5 million, it'll be this. So it'll be 3% up until you get to 15 million. Once you get to 15 million, it's not 3%, it's a flat fee of this. Once you go to 20 million, it's a flat fee of this. Like it should be a schedule, what they call it, based on the threshold of the millions you're making. Because like people didn't understand this when Tank was saying, well, and Floyd was saying, it's like, well, if you got all of the belts and you got to pay 3% of all of them, it's okay when you're not making that much. Like if you're only making like 6 million, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not as much as if you're making 50 million.
Yeah.
If you're making 50 million, you're looking at that. You're looking at not the percentage. You're actually looking at the dollar amount, and you're getting distracted, even though it's still a percentage, right? So
Yeah.
it should be a schedule once you get past a certain amount. It's just like this. The wealthy people, the way the wealthy people think, they think like this. They say, all right, out of 100% of my income, I'm going to allot 30% towards my house. I'm going to allot 10% towards, 10% towards my car. I'm going to allot 5 to 7% for fashion or entertainment or whatever. And as they grow, the percentages stay the same, but as they increase in income, the amount that's allotted for those things change. So example would be if it's like the 30% for your home, whatever it is towards your mortgage. If you're making 100 grand, then that's 30 grand going towards the home. Once you start making 200, then that's 60 grand, but it's still a percentage.
Yeah.
So it's not going to change. Like it's like anything else. Like just like when you tip, like if you have a $10 meal and you're going to tip the average 15%, then that's $1.50. If it's 100, then that's $15. Like it's relative to the amount. So it's really not a big deal because it's a percentage. People are getting caught up in the dollar amount, but it's still a percentage. The thing is, this wasn't even 3%. This was 0.006%.
So just right there, the way I look at it is this as well. Okay, using your analogy of allotting X amount as you grow, right? So you look at fighters, and these fighters drop their videos of what I spent my first million on. When you look at Terrence Crawford, he still lives in the same house that he bought with his first million. You feel what I'm saying? So if you're a person, and this is where it gets tricky for the fighter. If you're a person, right? Shakur said he has multiple homes. So the percentage he pays on every belt, it has a greater impact than what Bud pays on every belt because Bud is not running around talking. I mean, he said he bought his mother and sister and family members a home and things like that, but those are paid for homes. Those are not mortgages. Those are not mansions. Those are not, what the type of home that Shakur lives in. You feel what I'm saying? So if you're a person that wants to drive the more fancier cars, you want all the heavy jewelry, you want to be in all the drip, you have to remember, as you grow, your needs will grow. Biggie told you, more money, more problems if you can't compartmentalize and then make smart investments. Floyd made smart investments. That's why he has the money he has and lives the life he lives after boxing. You feel what I'm saying? Tank has made smart investment. Ryan Garcia has made smart investments because they're looking at the life after boxing. When you look at life after boxing and things like that, when it comes down to these fees are still relative to what you're doing outside the ring. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to say, as Body alluded to me earlier, with a talking point that says, no, that's what you call being shrewd. That's a shrewd businessman to ask, okay, if I'm paying for this, what exactly am I getting? I mean, I get the trophy, but after that, what's there for me? And then it could make you reevaluate on some weird shit of what you're doing. Me personally, as a chef and a restaurant owner, I get taxed twice because I have to file taxes on what the restaurant earned, but then I also have to turn around and file taxes on what I earned, and my pay is based off the restaurant. So the New York State says, listen, as a business owner, you got to pay yourself a minimum of $1,000 a week. If you're not paying yourself $1,000 a week, we can remove your license to operate in New York or whatever. Okay, cool. So if my 1,000 comes from the business, and that 1,000 is not even calculated within the break even, then as I grow or not growing, I still got to pay myself that. Otherwise, I'm penalized. That's not the case. What's happening with these sanctioning fees, and now that once you start to pay these double amount in taxes, there's a part of it that you get to where it gets wonky. There's a part of it that you actually benefit off of, because paying for the sanctioning fees, in my opinion, and you got these belts, right? These belts give you avenues to the most accomplished fighter. You'll get that at the end of your career. You'll go into the Hall of Fame with an accolade that may have not been broken for 30 or 50 years. So just pay what you gotta pay. Like they say, you gotta pay to play, bro. If you want to dance with the big boys, you gotta pay to play. And you've been paying to play, so I don't understand why it's that much of an issue now. And it's for you, it's like, but it's like that Snoop Dogg situation I spoke about to you, Body, earlier, as when you was 187 on a motherfucking cop type shit. Everybody was loving those albums. Everybody was buying those albums across the country. You feel what I'm saying? You had the plats, you had the dark, $10 Ray-Bans and shit like that, the plaid shirt. You was killing it. Then once you became Snoop and, you went through your phases of where you wanted to be Snoop Rasta and all of this other weird shit, you then forgot about how you got to where you got. Because then when you did that inauguration thing, you told us, the fans, fuck us. What we did for you. You made this money. And it's like, nigga, motherfuckers didn't have to buy the product. That's what you were missing.
Yeah. The only pushback I have is that when it come down to having to pay a fee, as far as what you got going on, that's why I don't even try to look at what they got going on. Like, I don't care if you got 11 houses. I don't care if you got 3 houses. I don't care if you got a shack. When you pay out a fee as a business owner, it's a tax write-off. So it's like, it's dumb as, it's kind of like silly as hell. And then what you also did was you kind of like fucked everybody up, because how we know Canelo ain't go back and be like, hold on, man, you let him do this for 0.006%. Like, I'll make way more bread. Like relatively, my fights, I've been making big ass paydays, like whoppers, for a long ass time. Like, and every other champion. Think about every other champion that might have had a WBC. Yeah. Like Floyd might have got on the horn and be like, hold on, man, like, what y'all did? What? How much? Like every other WBC champion, like, hold on, man, y'all cut this dude for 0.006. Like you raised a lot of awareness and attention to this shit that, you know what I'm saying, like, shouldn't even have been known, in my opinion. I'm like, this the other thing. And I heard a dude shitting on Oscar, and I'm like, okay, so, and I don't do the personal life, but I'm gonna play the game real quick. They were like, oh man, this Mr. Spatula, man, Mr. Fishnet. So I was like, okay, so that's some personal life shit, because he came out and he said something, but this is what Oscar said. He basically said it was okay when they were ranking you or putting you in a position for you to be able to get the fight. Because think about it. He was undisputed at welterweight. He jumped up at 54, and they allowed him to leapfrog over 60, to jump up to 68, and be ranked to be able to get that fight. So you can't be okay with people ranking you to put you in a position for it, and it's a sanction. It's like, these people don't work for free, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've sat there, and I hate this, Like you go out to eat with people and they don't want to leave a tip on some Reservoir Dog shit. Like where it's like, nah, what tip for what? It's like, hold on a minute. That's like, come on, man. We gonna tip, man. We don't do that, man. We like the food you ate. Look at your plate. Where's the food is gone? Why are you not tipping? Like that's just part of the like you shouldn't. I ain't going out to eat with you no more. It's like you can't sit up there and eat all the food and all the lobster and all the shit. Like, man, that shit was garbage. I'm not paying for this shit. Like what? Like no, bro, no. That's not how this works. These people don't work for free. Without a sanctioning body, what are we doing? So if you are being the one that's pulling out the blocks or trying to do like I said with that thread where you're pulling the thread to make all this shit fall apart, it's like okay, but then you gotta think about the people that's coming after you, bro. You gotta think about the people that's looking up to you, the people that's gonna try to follow in your footsteps and be like, you know what, I'm bucking the system too. They don't got all these undisputed, bro. And at the end of the day, you gotta pay how you weigh. But it's at the end of the day, it's still a tax write-off. That's why I don't get none of it.
Yeah, bro, listen. As an executive chef, right? And I didn't know this until I had got my own personal my sister does taxes. And she went got her CPA and the whole 9 yards, right? So I'm just chopping it up with her and everything. And she had informed me of something. You know what I'm saying? Because she was like, as a chef, when you do your taxes, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I do them and stuff like that. Because I asked her for some help because she did payroll and stuff like that. And I needed some help with a large place I was consulting, and I was trying to figure out the payroll and shit like that for over, 20-something employees. So long story short, she had did some research and she came back and she was like, you're not an hourly wage person, right? And I was like, nah, and I got my own LLC. I've been my own boss, since I became an executive because, it's like freelance work. I have no protection. So she was like, okay, so did you know about when you buy a knife, when you buy a chef coat, when you buy a knife bag, tweezers, spoons, whatever the fuck you buy for your restaurant and your work as a chef, and you're telling me you have your own LLC, did you know that was a tax write-off? And I was like, nah, I just went and got my taxes done and shit like that. And, dude asked me, did I have any receipts and stuff like that? And I was like, no, I'm a chef. And he didn't bother to tell me. He just said, okay, finished it up and told me, yeah, there's a little bit of change I'm going to get back. And I was like, explain this to me. She said, I'll email you the information. Once you do your own LLCs and you're the company, like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Mm-hmm. Everything is a tax write-off. Everything can be a tax write-off. I had no idea if you have a home-based business, you can write off your mortgage payments.
Yeah, a certain square footage. Your cell phone, like your part of your cell phone bill, like you can, if you go out on a lunch and you even speak or talk to somebody about your business, you can write that off. Like it's a write-off, bro. Like, so that's why I'm like, man, people who I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, man. It just boiled down to, I hate to say this, man, it was like some nigga shit, man. Like, that's all it really was, man. It's like, man, come on, bro. Like, it's just something that when you look at it, it just brought attention to a whole situation, man, that could have been avoided. And now you done alerted a lot of eyes. You got people working up. You got millions out here that's trying to make this into some racial stuff, trying to make it into like, it's ugly, bro. It's like, and then you don't want to, like, because I'll start looking at it, I say, hold on, man, because when you look at a lot of the activities, people are always, it's certain people that get spared of being able to do certain things, but it's like, okay, you had a problem when you went over here, you had a problem when you went over there, you had a problem in this situation, you had a problem in that situation. It's like, who's the real problem, bro? Like, you're an excellent fighter, but who's the real problem, bro? Like, I don't like. So I look at it like, man, damn, man.
I kind of chalk it up like this at times. I don't know what the 25th floor penthouse looks like because I ain't got the money to afford the 25th floor penthouse. But when I get the money to get up in the 25th penthouse, am I really going to be shocked at what am I looking at? This is the penthouse on the 25th floor. I got the bullshit, penthouse that's on the 15th floor. That only thing you got is basically a terrace. And somebody comes in and gives me complimentary champagne. There's no jacuzzi inside. There's no on-call masseuse. There's a whole bunch of amenities. No, somebody doesn't bring in the Osetra caviar cart with the bellinis and sour cream and shit like that for me at a whim, complimentary. Every time I go out, I come back in, it's a fucking cart with fruits and cakes and all of this other kind of shit. And that's when you realize that, okay, I'm at a whole different price point. And if you could break certain things down into understanding my business and understanding the price points, then you just make simple observations at times. Yeah, everybody got to pay to play. And if I made a deal with you and then you said I reneged on the deal and I'm telling you now I want more money, okay, that part of the conversation shouldn't have been for my ears. You know what I'm saying? That was on some James Bond shit for your eyes only, not mine. That's above my pay scale. You are the people that take the private elevator to the 25th floor. I have no idea who even gets in that elevator. I take the regular one to the 15th floor. So for me, it's just like, bud, sometimes you get into certain places, you get to certain levels. There's a level of decorum you gotta kind of learn how to play. You don't go into the Rolex store and you ask how much. Because if you're asking how much, those people, and the saying is, if you ask how much it costs in a Rolex store, you can't afford it. Because if you can afford it, you just say, I want that. Wrap that one up right there. It's just that simple. The price is irrelevant. I don't walk into the Ferrari shop and say, how much is that Ferrari? I'm trying to move out because I was in the window closer to the fire joint, but basically that's kind of what I'm saying. You have to have the ability to say, am I being common? Am I being middle class? Or do I understand the level that I've reached right now? And I think I'm not sure. And I'm trying to be nice and gratiated about it and say, look, but I just don't think you understand that level, because you're at a different level to whereas every one of the fighters you looked up to coming up, for the most part, they didn't make the money you making. They didn't even make half the money you making. So you surpassed them. And in surpassing them and moving up to that level, you gotta let certain things go. You gotta know, when I walk into the Rolex shop, I don't ask how much. I look at, oh, this is a presidential? And that's a continental. Yeah. Give me, wrap both of them up. Yeah. Put it on the black. You
Yeah,
feel what I'm saying?
yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, I do. And behind closed, he might be used to it. I mean, I'm pretty sure when it comes down to like the hunting stuff that he do and like his little extracurricular, I'm pretty sure he go top tier with whatever it is he want to do. It's like, especially workout equipment, like hunting, fishing, like rods. I'm pretty sure that he knows about that. I think that man, sometimes in the moment, we can all get caught up in like that instant gratification or the thrill of, you know, the moment, like where we don't look at like the ripple effects.
Yeah.
And I was always like, what helped me out in life was that, and this applied to relationship, but I applied to life. It's like you can throw rocks, which create little ripples, but you can't drop boulders. You know what I'm saying? So in a relationship, you could toss a pebble, you can toss a rock. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to get a rock that you can throw two-handed, but you can't drop a boulder because the ripples from that is going to be too big. This was almost like, this is boulder, like you're creepy. Like if it's not boulder, then you damn close to boulder type activity, and the ripples that it caused was like, damn, like you throw a rock, most people don't even pay attention, they don't even notice. You drop a boulder, they definitely notice. Why? Because you damn near made all the water come out the motherfucking lake. You know what I'm saying? And being shrewd or being about your business, or knowing that, like being like, because Scrooge had a lot of money, and you know what I'm saying, that he could swim in it or whatever. He was accounting for every motherfucking, like even the leprechaun. He's like, I want me gold shilling. You know what I'm saying? I want every blood clot to every red cent. Like, okay, cool. That's cool. That's being accountable. But being a shrewd man, like, because you don't know what opportunities you might be looking at going forward. And you don't know if people are going to be like, because these people talk, and these people done have relationship with people, you know, that upper echelon, that behind the closed doors. I know you got your people that you talk to, you know what I'm saying, one of the richest men on the planet, but like, those are not the only wealthy individuals. These other wealthy individuals talk, and as time go on, we don't know what opportunities you might be faced with and whether or not they'll ingratiate you. Cause they be like, man, I don't know, like you remember this, you remember that. Like people are listening and watching, man. The less eyeballs and like the more positive things or good things they can say about you, the better. You know what I'm saying? Like, so live in it, own it. You know what I'm saying? If this what you want, you know what I'm saying? You want people to talk about this, or it was really to like usher people over to Turkey. Remember, people are jumping off of that Turkey train. Why? Because Turkey came out and said that he lied. Like he came out and said, yeah, sometimes I don't tell the truth. Sometimes I listen to the media and I'll say this and I'll do this. And we already know what they're really trying to do. It's almost like he wants to bankrupt all of the belts. Think about some of the things I said. He got the WBA off of BoxRec. That was taken off. So you can't even acknowledge. And then all these other belts trying to undermine or devalue all of these to uplift the ring belt. It's like in a real world, it's not going to work. Why? Because the sanctioning bodies have to sanction the bouts and they have to do the rankings, which determine the hierarchy. Other than that, it's just like, all right, I want to fight him and I want to fight them. But based on what? It got to be ranked. It got to be sanctioned. It's a trickle-down effect. These people have to get paid for these organizations to exist to have any semblance of what boxing is. Because the sanctioning bodies are the only ones that kind of add some, along with the athletic commissions, some kind of semblance of structure. You disrupt that, you disrupt everything. They don't work for free.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, for me, it's like the sanctioning bodies are, and the rankings are, to a certain degree, when you really, really look at it, it still has a very, very big value and a high level of importance, because it brings in the structure. And what people don't understand is there are people who do that, just like there are people with CompuBox. And one dude tried to tell me, no, did you know CompuBox was a dude there with a clicker? And I'm like, okay, all right. I heard what you just said, but I'm not gonna explode at you and say, you know what, that is the dumbest shit that I've heard in the last 20 years. Because how do you account for power punches, jabs, hooks, check hooks, counter hooks, and all the other different varieties of punches that are thrown if you just got one clicker and one person is sitting there looking? Like, that shit makes no sense. Like, this nigga would have to be on a swirling chair that's always giving me a view of the two of you side by side. So I'm just like, bruh, shit like that matters. Just like I had a long discussion with a dude that I was trying to explain to him. Data matters, bro. You can tell me everything you want, but billionaire people just don't put on shows and cards without someone looking at the data. I said that's why the Nielsen ratings were so important. Data runs everything, bro. Because I'm trying to explain to him, the person was trying to tell me the Turk and them don't give a fuck about certain things. They just want to see the fights. I said that is emphatically not true. Billionaires, millionaires, trillionaires, even thousandaires don't get involved with shit just blindly. There's got to be data there. I'm looking at data, so I'm putting on my cards and I'm looking at the highest grossing versus the most viewed versus, highest attendance, gate, all that kind of shit. What I'm giving away for free. So all of that goes into data when I can now say the next big fights that I'm going to look at. We gave this huge budget and we didn't need half that money. So we're going to scale some of that money back for just some of the emergencies. But now we have a baseline of what it costs to put on a Night of Champions. And it was flawless because of the mistakes they made with the Night of Champions with the heavyweights. Remember how fucked up that was, and remember some of their early cards where they wanted the singers and shit like that, and the singers needed 20 and 30 minutes to get down there. Then you had to go through this concert, and it just lost the attention of the fans. Yeah, it was like, nah, we can't do that because the data shows there was a lull. We saw a clear dip, in things like that. So we're not going to do that bullshit anymore. Boom. So when you look at who collects the data, who processes the data, now you got AI, but humans used to do that. And that takes a minute, and humans have to do that in real time and sometimes, overnight. But at the end of the day, they have to be paid. There's a whole network of shit that happens. You feel what I'm saying? Like the whole argument of that you were making earlier of the ripple effect. For me, when I look at the ripple effect is not just how it affects, everything on my scale. There's a whole macroeconomic level that these ripples affect.
It's an ecosystem, man. Like, you throw off the whole ecosystem, bro.
Exactly. So you may look at it and be like, yeah, this rock, give me a bigger rock. I think I can make a bigger wave. Watch this. Doosh. And that shit goes good. Doosh. And then it makes the wave and you just looking at it and you're in awe about it. But the macroeconomics is there's, and I'm just using it as an example, but there's a certain insect that feeds on larvae from this or fish eggs from this one, and when you cause that, it just bum rushes all the fish eggs. So now it's affecting these fish life, and now it's affecting these insects because now it's just too much there. And then people wonder why the beach stinks and other shit like that. That's because you keep making you keep making ripples and not understanding that there's the microeconomy. There's the people that are coming up. They're the people that are gonna be looking at you like, yeah, like me coming up in boxing, hands down, it was Terrence Crawford. That was my guy. I was, I'm trying to be as much like Terrence Crawford as possible, but still be me. Will that mean you're going to try to talk to a sanctioning body in that manner? And they're just going to look at you and they're going to say, oh, you think you've risen to the top like Terrence Crawford that really don't have nothing to lose. Like you can literally retire tomorrow, tonight, midnight. No, you are not him. So you don't want to fucking pay for the sanction. You're not getting sanctioned for nothing.
That's
Bye.
see, and I hate to say it, man, but like when certain people break certain barriers and they start recalibrating, they start reevaluating. Like think about it worked out for Abdullah, but think about how they kind of messed up with Bud a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They did okay with Shakur. You know what I'm saying? I think they got him a lot of accolades, but then when you look at how Keyshawn came, they threw everything at Keyshawn's feet. And then then he imploded. So you gotta think in their mind, they was like, well, how are we gonna handle this? And how are we gonna are we gonna give this like freewheeling, or like until we give that next guy like carte blanche like that to be able to do some of the things that he was doing? Are we gonna have to like super vet them and put them through this process and do this and do that? Like it's like, man, like for everybody that you make it rough for people that come behind you when you do stuff like that. It's like you make them have to be more reserved and scrutinize people more, or like the guards are all the way down, they freely doing this, they with that. Now it's like, nope, I got my guards back up now, because now, like, remember, we got burned. Like it's interesting. We're gonna see how it works, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna see how it works, but like it's a ripple effect from this, and it's people that's watching. And I don't think it was good attention. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't think. I think in hindsight, it's one of the things when you wake up and you're like, yeah, I really gave it to them, but like I've done it. I've quit jobs. I've walked off of jobs and done things. I'm like, well, yeah, did I feel empowered, or did I feel like I really gave it to them at that point in time? Yeah, but then when you look, you're like, probably shouldn't have done that like that. Like, so I could have done that better, or I could have. If I was really thinking, I would have done this, and I would have been more effective. But I think that's one of these things. We'll see. But Let me ask you, to get on a more positive note, let me ask you something else. But not even necessarily positive, but different note. We've been talking about this. Let me get it. Let me bring it up here. We've been talking about this, man, and your boy,
yeah,
this man missed weight. Like, what is that? What did that tell you, man? The dude was 2 pounds, man. 2 pounds. What do you think about that, man?
That 2 pounds that 2 pounds was your lie detector test, because you've been on it for a minute, saying, yeah, Fulton, he looks like he balloons up. Like he gets big, in between fights and stuff like that. And that was one of your caveats when you was talking down about this fight. Like, yeah, I hope dudes can make weight, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. We did find out that Fulton missed weight by 2 pounds. So looking at it from that perspective, it's telling. It's like, where do you really belong, Fulton? You know what I'm saying? Because this was at 130, right?
Yeah.
So are you really 35 pounder, or are you really a 140 pounder? Like, where do you really belong, Stephen Fulton? So
I think it's 35. I really think it's 35 now.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's like, for me, you go through with this Shaq fight, take your losses, and you get up out of Dodge. Get up to 35 as ASAP. You know
But
what I'm saying?
but as far as how this fight go, because it could be the Ryan thing where it's like that extra weight, he could use it as a, almost like
Yeah,
what I think Keyshawn was gonna try to do with
yeah.
Dos Santos. Use it as like, I got extra punch resistance. Like, yeah, you could be slower, but like I'm gonna bully. Like I'm the bigger man. I'm gonna push this nigga back. I'm gonna rough him up. Like how do you see, like, is it a difference in the fight for you after knowing this?
For me, there's that, because if I'm gonna stay true to the things that I said before, right, and not get caught up in the question, and the question reveals that I'm not consistent in what I was saying. I was saying, like, the more rugged, the guy who looked like he could beat you up and be more aggressive. I put that box in Stephen Fulton's corner. That was one of my keys for him to be able to beat O'Shaq. Like, you got to go in there, you got to rough him up, you got to be a little bit dirty, stay behind your boxing, but frustrate Shaq and get in his head and stuff like that, and keep him on the back foot. You feel what I'm saying? So with the extra weight, the inner part of me says start leaning more towards Fulton in this one, and only because that two pound, and I'm not hearing nothing about rehydration or anything else, but either Shaq is going to really step up and pull out some new wrinkles, or as it stands, Stephen Fulton might just walk over you. And that's how close that fight was to me. That these 2 pounds could actually make a difference in how these guys look in this fight now, moving forward.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Like, I'm like, man, I hope, man. I hope Shockey got either compensated or, I mean, he's a soldier, he's a G, because he went through with the fight, and it's no way that Cool Boy can win the title. If he does win, then the belt will just go vacant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So dirty game, man. I'm like, why are people dropping the ball like this? Like, and then I don't want to hear nothing from Cool Boy or the get along gang up there about how people be hating on Cool Boy, because this is ridiculous, bro. Like, I understand there were setbacks, and I understand it got pushed back, but the way he been talking, like, that shit, I ain't gonna lie, that shit kind of made me want O'Shaq to beat the shit out of him now, like, because it's like y'all be browbeating, like, yeah, you got some negative Nancy type fans out here, but then you got people that just they analyze boxing and they talk about it, but the way they be acting, like, fans can't say shit. Like, nah, man, I don't put no interest. Sounding like a Debbie Downer, like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't want to hear shit no more. Like, it don't make no sense to get paid millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, way I see business, you put that kind of bread up on the table for me, and the way I look at business, it's no fucking way.
Yeah, for me, I was just gonna say, I remember, for me, back in the days, maybe it was at lower scales or whatever, but they would take at least half your purse if you miss weight. It was a chunk of your purse that they took if you missed weight back then, because that's part of the contract. You got to come in and you have to make weight. So, if you didn't own up to that part of the contract, then why should I pay you anywhere close to what you thought you was going to make? Because as a professional, you didn't live up to what you were supposed to do, and you've already violated one of the major terms of the contract. You have to make weight. So
yeah, because the language be having it, the language gotta match, like, the way you was talking gotta match your level of professionalism, man. They
Yeah.
gotta, you know, and this was a like, man, this was a fight that had big implications, and there's still big implications.
Yeah,
But
it's
but
also
now
yeah. Go ahead.
but now the results are going to be skewed a little bit.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, okay, we've had two challenging things back to back, or last week and then this week, you know, or just back to back in this fight week that we had to deal with, and that's number one, Jennebeck popping dirty, and now Fulton misses weight. You feel what I'm saying? So when you look at the main card, you feel what I'm saying? You give it a different level of respect, because it's like, this is how professionals are supposed to act. You know, Fulton, whether it was intentional, part of the game plan, or your strategy or whatever, nah, bro. That's all I gotta say is nah. And if you should win this fight because of that weight division, nah. That's not gonna put me on a yeah. Now I'm finally there with Fulton. Like, if you would have beat him on an even playing field going into the fight, I'd have been like, yo, I gotta give Fulton his respect, bro. That he turned in his corner, and he understanding his career now. You know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna stay at this level, performances like that are key. But now it's like, nah. Just like I take away the Valdez victory with Shakur, and I don't even count, you know, yeah, it was whatever, but I can't give you props on the Regis fight, Devin. I can't. I'm sorry, bro. Everybody could ask me. I could be in a room with you, your dad, and every one of your sycophants, and they ask me, yeah, but you said you're a fan. Why can't you give us credit for the Regis fight? I'm gonna say, listen, was there any rehydration clauses in the fight? And if you guys gonna speak to me honestly, tell me the truth. And they say, yeah, and that's it. Because
Yeah, I think
you rehydrated to a point where you went over the limit of rehydration, and then you didn't let this dude rehydrate properly. Come on.
I think back to when Ryan, the whole Ryan debacle, and I was one of them people saying, "Oh man, here y'all go, y'all belly aching over the 3 pounds, and it ain't no." And they was like, "Man, I heard so much." They're like, "Nah, man, you gotta think, man, because man, when you scraping for the weight in them last 2 pounds, and I remember what Gary Russell went through. He said he had to lose 5 pounds, but guess what? He did that shit, and he still dropped Lomachenko. He still, and they didn't count it, but he damn near still beat and people act like Lomachenko just went in there and just washed that dude. That dude actually, he had 5 pounds. The scale wasn't right. He had 5. He made himself lose them 5 pounds and still fought, bro. They don't make them like that no more. And so now I'm thinking about all the Devin only fans and what they said at that time. They're like, nah, man, that's not right, man. Because Devin, he had to scrape down. And you gotta think, man, when one side do it and the other side don't, man, that's like they was going on and on and on about it. I'm like, okay, so where are all these people at now? You know what I'm saying? And like, skills pay the bills at the end of the day. And Oshaki did move forward. So, just like Devin, he moved forward with the fight. He moved forward with the fight with Ryan, and what happened. Then they try to say, nah, man, nah. Then the Osterring came. But we gotta think, Devin moved forward. You gotta think, De Los Santos and them, when Keyshawn tried to do that shit, they was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? I'll take my bread, give me my money, and I'm out. So respect Oshaki for, still giving us a show. but it's a wild card. That fight is a wild card now. You know,
Yeah.
and boxing is like that. You know what I'm saying? And now we get a guy. I think his name is Johan Vasquez against for this fight, the replacement for this. We get Johan Vasquez. He's a knockout artist. He is a knockout artist, but that fight, the complexion of that. So the whole complexion of this card kind of changed, man.
Yeah.
Like in a matter of days. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so. But Pitbull, let's wrap up with Pitbull and Lamont. What you think about that?
I'm still where I'm at with it, man. Me, it's like it was a strategic move by Lamont to choose to fight Pitbull. I see you going after the common opponent. You know, you extra breezy about the tank, whatever. I guess you trying to buck up and say, all right, after this fight, I should be in position for that rematch if it were to happen. I'm still resting my laurels on just a straight up victory over Pitbull. Yes, that's good. You know, a win is a win is a win. But in certain situations, you have to make that statement. Now, you're telling people, you know, you have no intentions of staying at 140. Then I'm like, then why go to 140? Why not stay where you was at and take on one of those other guys, or get that belt? You know what I'm saying? Get yourself a belt at 35. So you're moving up to fight Pitbull Cruz. I guess you're looking for the same effect that, you know, Conor Ben just got off of going up and fighting Eubanks. I don't know the whole reason for it, but if I was you, I'd have probably, you know, not did that. Then when I saw Mr. Gary Russell come up, I'd have been like, yeah, that's the fight I want. Y'all want to say I'm a bad man? I want to say I'm a bad man. I'm this, and that. Give me Mr. Gary Russell. He just came up here. He looked pretty sharp in his last fight. Don't look like he missed a step. Yeah, I want that dance partner.
They saying
he tailor made. Go ahead.
They saying he don't even want Gary Antoine no more.
Wow.
They saying he wants to Brill. Like, I'm like,
and that's where shit tends to get a little weird with me, because it's like, pick a direction. You know.
Pitbull was a little aggressive. You know, he was a little aggressive. He was a little, you know. My whole thing is this. Lamont been talking about this whole stoppage, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, when the last time I seen Lamont stop somebody? Like, I mean, he moving up in weight. He could be stronger and all that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, to me, that's just a little bit overzealous. Like, I mean, you know, he could, but it's interesting, bro. It's big implications. But I think Pitbull say Pitbull don't want a tank rematch. I think he wants Shakur if he wins. Now, all of a sudden. I remember when he turned that fight down, but now he wants Shakur. It's weird. And Shakur, he's basically saying, like, when I'm really a 35er, so when I win, you know what I'm saying, I'm going back down because I'm the best one at 35, and I'm gonna let Keyshawn reign at 40. I'm like, man, yeah. You know, it's a certain amount of delusion everywhere, bro. But
yeah, but he's also talking about, he would go up to 47 to fight Conor Ben.
Yeah.
And the fight with him and Dev is possible. Well, Devin's gonna want to fight you at 47.
He said, but Conor Ben keep talking about fighting all these other people and doing all these other things. I'm like, what else he supposed to do? You said you wasn't gonna fight till January, and you locked into Tio, but you took from, when was that? When was that?
But I give Frank
March.
I give Frank this. he is alluding to that a fight with him and Keyshawn for 2026 could really happen after this guy. Because he said, yeah, he spoke to Keyshawn, they chopped it up, you know what I'm saying? It all depends on, you know, when Keyshawn unannounced suspension is over. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be interesting. That's a fight I think everybody would still want to see. Everybody still wants to see, especially at 140 with both of these guys. So that's still real. I like that fight a lot. With Pitbull, I don't know, man. Those videos of him working out, that nigga looked fat as hell.
He did.
Like, bruh, like you look like a 4'7" fat midget. Like, man, listen, that's the part that's just like, I don't know how you come in that ring, but looking at those videos of you, even though you did have on a black sweatsuit or dark blue sweatsuit or dark colored, however you want to call it, bro, your arms look like little T-Rex arms, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. At 140, you just look too small. You look wide.
He is. He's too small. He need to go down to 35, man. Where he can really he can be like how Nick Ball is down there at 26, like where he at. Like, I mean,
like the fight for me to see at 35 for him. Let me see, you know, him and Schofield or him and Sam Nooks. You feel what I'm saying? Like them right there.
Pitbull and Abdullah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See if you can pass that test. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't know if you watched it, but I saw Sam Noakes' interview with the Ring magazine after the fight.
It keep popping up for me to watch it. I just ain't let myself watch it, but
I watched it today, bro. I thought it was worth it. I mean,
I'm gonna go back and watch it then.
I'm gonna say it like this: if you haven't watched a lot of UK movies like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or things like that, where you know where they got those heavy British accents, then the interview with Sam Noakes, you're gonna be like, I watched the whole thing. It's like 9 minutes or so. I think I might have got 6 words out of it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because he heavy on the accent. So, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was cool. I'm like, his comportment of himself, his assessment of himself, and everything like that. It's like, yeah, Sam, you're gonna be a player at 35. You're gonna be a UK dude that a lot of American fans are gonna like if they don't already like you already. You know. So
word. I'm gonna watch it.
The dude and some people kept on trying to get him in some of the interviews was to try to get him to make some sort of weird comparison between him sparring him sparring Shakur Stevenson and fighting Abdullah Mason. He was just like, he wouldn't bite into it. He was like the intellect of Shakur, the ring IQ and everything. It's different. You can tell he's on a different level. Abdullah Mason is not really there, but the pace and things like that from Abdullah is amazing. You can tell, and I liked when he said it. He was like, you can tell he's one of those guys that's a one every generation type fighter. And he gave Abdullah all the props in the world. He was like, yeah, I'm not really worried about any of the other punchers at 35 because look what I just did with him. When you look at his size, the torque, his reach, and everything, it's like, nah, If I could do 12 with him, and he was honest. He was like, when the up between that uppercut, that nasty ass uppercut he caught him with, and then with the peak, with the uppercut and then the 2-piece after that, and then that body shot, he was like, after he got hit, his eyes immediately started focusing on the mat, and he was saying to himself, "Am I gonna just take the easy route right now and just take the knee?" And he was
Yeah.
like, "If I did it, then I would do it every fight after that." So I just held on, and I was like, "See, that's if we give Abdullah, uh, um, Norman Jr. and these other guys that have the right attitude, whether you win, lose, or whatever, you
Hmm.
still got that type of attitude, man. I rocks with you as a boxer all day long. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's that yard type thing. Yeah, I lost the fight. It was a big fight. You know what I'm saying? I did go back and watch it, but if I got to go back and rewatch it again, I'm rewatching it for all the things that I felt that I did wrong and where I can improve.
Yeah.
Oh man, listen, that dude's gonna be a problem.
That's what's up, man. I look forward to seeing him mix it up, man. He's definitely a cool guy. He's definitely a cool guy, man. Good sport. Um, yeah, he gonna do some. He gonna be a little piece to figure out. We'll see what he go on to do. They've already starting to bait. They starting to bait. They're starting to bait this man right here, saying that he's what he say he called out Shakur and Tank. I'm like, man, y'all already with that. Y'all with that. I mean, if they fight, they fight, but you know, they hyping it right now. It's like he got to get back and talk to his team, um and they got to have a plan. But I don't, this they pushing it. They really pushing it, So, and he's saying he with it, Shakur saying that he's too young, but
I did like the fact that Shakur gave him his props.
Yeah,
the dude is a beast. That's a little young beast. You know what I'm saying? But if it really, really came down to it, I'd give him a shot. But it might not, be the type of exciting fight that y'all would want to see because it's just levels. I could easily do X, Y, and Z to him, and I was like, yeah, Corey, I get you on that one. I would probably be arguing the same thing. Like, nah, man, Mason, you need, you need some more looks. You need to clean up some holes, and you know what I'm saying, and things like that. And if you could do that, I'm still not going to give you the edge to win. But yeah, you're a sharp puncher. You have a lot of tangibles with you, but Shakur is a different animal. He can exploit, things that you feel you got buttoned up. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you could beat a Shakur Stevenson training for a big fight in the basement.
Yeah, they said, and they saying that Boots and Virgil, they saying that that's pretty close to being made. Mm-hmm. I believe it when they blurt it out and say, "Hey, breaking," probably right after this fight, breaking news. You know what I'm saying?
The crazy thing is, Bozy just dropped another interview where he like, all of that's bullshit. He ain't sending no offers. So I'm like, where are these people getting this from? Because
he said it, bro.
One half of it is saying none of that shit is true, bro. What the
bro? He said it though. I seen an interview where he's saying it.
Oh, what?
He said no. He said, to my understanding, man, that fight almost. Yeah, man, that fight.
He done changed his mind in a matter of days,
bro. That's why I said, man, that's just grain of salt, man. Aaron Jones.
I'm confused, bro. I'm confused.
Salute Aaron Jones.
I am utterly confused because, bruh, from the way everything was being mentioned before, Bozy kept on saying, no, no, no. Just I saw an interview with him that on the bottom it said 2 days ago. And he's also talking about Crawford saying telling Virgil or whoever, leave Crawford alone because Crawford can do what he want to do. And he was asked about it, and he was like, "Man, not me. Ain't nothing happening with that fight. Not me. Nobody said me nothing just yet. Not me. Not me." And I was just like, I don't know what's going on with them dudes, right?
Yeah, man, he got, man. I wish somebody would ask him about what happened with Fulton, man. But he got a squad. Like, I do give it to Bozy. I like Bozy though. I like him. Like Bozy, he old school, man. Like you could tell, man. Like he just old school, man. He remind me of my uncles, man. He remind me of my uncles.
There's certain parts where I could fuck with Bozy because Bozy, like, yeah, Jerome, my son. I mean, but I ain't with some of that bullshit he be talking about. I mean, if he want to show himself who he is, and he think he is who they say he is, then he gonna go out there and do what he got to do. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Bozy, you can't be getting at your son like that, bro. As a dad, I know what you just said.
Hey, he said, man, he be cracking me up when they ask him something. Man, I don't know nothing about that, man. Like, nah, man, I don't know nothing about that, man. Like, it'd be, but yeah, I don't know nothing about that, man. Like, when they asked him about Jake Paul, man, I don't know nothing about that, man. I don't know nothing about that fight, man. Yeah, man, he should now. And the AJ, he should, but now I don't know nothing about that. Like, they be trying to get him caught up in the study. Like, man, I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
Like, that shit be funny as hell because he be smart, but he know, but he be, you know what I'm saying? It's like, he know how to get him. He know how to get him off for that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people be falling right in, but Bozy be like,
Bozy be like, nope, you're not gonna get me to play those.
I'm not biting. I'm not taking.
Yeah, he be like, I ain't about to, I mean, break the way I feel or go against the grain. I mean, I just be like, Bozy.
I seen the brother, his other son, man. That dude said, he said, about I ain't exaggerating. I swear, I'm not exaggerating. He said it about 60 times.
Bro, I think, can you imagine what the dinner table is like sitting there with all of them? You're like, yo, pass me them peas, know what I mean? And give me a couple of pieces of that turkey, know what I mean? Like, put it on my plate right here, know what I mean?
I need some tea, know what I mean? Like, nah, man, you know what I mean? What a hot sauce, know what I mean? Nah, man, not that hot sauce, know what I mean?
Let's go food shopping. You go over there, you get the eggs, know what I mean? Get the 18 count, know what I mean? Not the 12 count. Make sure them shit's on sale, know what I mean? Just like, bro, like y'all just got me thinking the whole shit was originated in Philly. The way y'all said, I was like, because when the dude was talking about the young fighter that you were saying, you think it could be his son or Bozy's grandson. He was not y'all meaning everything to death. He would finish the sentence, say Yamin, and then once he paused, he's like, Yamin. I'm like, wow. Yeah. You got Yamin like Shannon Briggs got Let's Go Champ. For real.
Yeah, I think that was the interview I saw, man. That shit was funny as hell. I was like, man, is he? But that shit funny. I like them, man. I like them cats, man. They funny as hell, man.
Yeah, man. They bring a genuine, healthy relationship into the picture of boxing. And the one caveat, I may have my differences with your son right now, Bozy, but at the end of the day, man, I got nothing but love and respect for the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because when I look at Andy Cruz, when I look at just the sheer talent of Boots, we all know it's there. You'd be a fucking fool to say Boots is trash. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you guys can get this Virgil fight done and make make everybody eat their humble pie on this, then listen, Boots gonna beat the shit out of him, and Boots is gonna rock it to all type of stardom.
Yeah, it just gotta become kinetic. Right
Yeah.
now, we're still talking about potential. It just gotta become kinetic, man. And he got all of the characteristics. Like sometimes he be looking thrown off. I'd be like, man, Boots ain't right all the way, man. Especially when he get his eye get to looking big and he get to rubbing his beard and shit like that man might be thrown off in the head too. Like he just somebody gotta push him to that limit and he gonna go crazy in the ring, man. We just gotta see it. That's all it is. He just right there. He right there at that juncture where he can take off, man. He just need that dance partner where he can really just put it on, man. And they it's a thing where Eddie and them gotta come up with the money and they gotta have a plan and they gotta target the right person. So if this get across, you're gonna put it on display on Virgil and then it's up from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If it gets across, David Benavidez, Jerome Boots Ennis, Bam Rodriguez are easily in the conversation of the new faces of boxing. Abdullah Mason, it may take him some more time because he just got his belt, but he's also going to be in that conversation as a potential. But for me moving forward, if anybody was going to make arguments of faces of boxing, and who's like really doing it in their respective divisions and moving up and doing big things, it's definitely going to be them three, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, Boots, I'm kind of rooting for you in this Virgil fight, if y'all could get it across the line, because me personally, I'm on it like this. Virgil is your breakout fight. Virgil is the fight that you need to really solidify and establish yourself. For a guy and a boxing fan like me, it's a little late for it to happen, but better late than never. And being that you still young, the residuals could age a little bit better than when Bud had his first breakout fight, and then he was able to move the way he moved, and then get the Canelo fight along with Turkey's money, because it was basically Turkey's money. One fighter was fighting for legacy, the other fighter was basically fighting for the fucking bag and to protect his image. So at the end of the day, man, Boots, if you do it, I got all the love in the world for you, bro. You're gonna hear me pretty much mute myself for a minute and be like, nah, gave me what I wanted. He got that Virgil fight across the line, and he gave us the performance that we wanted to see of Boots versus Virgil. And that's for me, that's where I'm at, and hopefully it goes down. But for me, to where I'm going to end everything off for tonight's great cook, Fulton, you just applied the cheat code. You feel what I'm saying? You just applied the cheat code. You did the up, down, left, right, A star cheat code. I know that one. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know how it's going to work for you. It would be heavily embarrassing that you implemented the cheat code and you still got your ass whipped. So, you may have changed the dynamic of the fight, but you may have changed it in the sense where O'Shaq is like, okay, now I see what you're trying to do, and now I'm just gonna go in there and fuck you up. Y'all gonna see an O'Shaq Foster that you ain't never seen before.
I want him to turn up, man. I want him to turn up. I want him to act like he down by 3 rounds.
Yeah. So it's now I'm heavily interested in that fight. Um, I might be, to be honest, with these turn of events, I might be slightly more interested in that fight um, instead of the Roach and Pitbull fight. You know,
Yeah, it's I still gotta see big ass like because that Lamont Roach and Pitbull, that's the battle of the craniums. Them niggas got that nigga Lamont got a big ass dome, shorty. I'm
yeah,
like, yo, that's the battle of the craniums, and we gonna see if Lamont really built like that because Styles do make fight, and Pitbull gonna come bring that pressure. He don't care if he get hit. He gonna be coming and swinging, man. He looking a little aggressive. You know what I'm saying? But for people saying Lamont gonna stop Pitbull, I don't see that. I just prove me wrong. Make me, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna eat no crow because I want Lamont to win. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Pitbull is a pinata, but prove me wrong that you can actually stop this guy because I think that's what Lamont need to. Cause this Tank shit is so nasty, man. Like Cameron and Mace, they was throwing shade at Tank. I'm like, man, Mace. I'm like, y'all, I don't know how much they paying, how big that bag is, but for y'all to keep saying this man fumbled a $40 million bag, it's like, how do you fumble a $40 million bag? Like he's been getting money. He's been getting more than most of these boxes for a minute now. Like 40 would have been. I think a slight spike in what he been. I don't pocket watch, but a slight spike in what he got since the Ryan. But like they got that talking point. Like it was a lot of bread put out there for people to jump on this shit that they doing.
yeah, exactly.
And I don't think Lamont can ride this wave of being in Tank's, shadow for so long. Like I think he gotta come out and perform and do what he need to do.
And that's why for me I'm one of the guys calling for the stoppage, but I'm not calling for the one hitter quitter. I think Pitbull can be stopped on the TKO. I think Lamont, because I mean, like I was saying to you on the phone when it was the lead up with the Tank fight, Lamont made a fan out of me because when I look at, after his Jamel Herring loss, he just went on a tear, and he hasn't lost since. So I'm like, bruh, me personally, I give fighters a lot more credit than other fighters when they do some shit like that. You lose, you bounce back, you get a belt, and then you go on a tear, and then you start to place yourself in big fights. So for me, I'm loving how Lamont Roach is moving to a certain degree. Although I do understand the dynamics behind this Pitbull fight. You feel what I'm saying? That is your intention. That's just my thesis. It can be completely wrong, but at the end of the day, that's why I think he's doing it. And if that's the reason why you're doing it, then that's giving me more respect of saying, yeah, I think you realize that, you're not gonna get the knockout on this dude, but the TKO, it's possible. It's possible. You feel what I'm saying? And then you would do the unthinkable, because people are not going to remember the TKO. They're just going to remember he stopped him, and then that stopping him is going to turn into all kind of, other weird shit between the fans that'll just come along, and then after the Pitbull victory, then what would be the bandwagon only fans of Lamont Roach. You feel what I'm saying? I'm watching a little series of him produced by him and all of this other stuff, and things like that. It is entertaining. You feel me? It's a whole nother different side of Lamont and everything. But my only caveat to it is worry about Pitbull. I don't think you can escape it because the media is always going to put it out there. Everybody's always going to ask you. The questions are always going to be in your DMs and your Twitters and everything else. What's up with the rematch with Tank? What's up with the rematch? And if he wins, that that voice is just gonna, you know, be like a thunderstorm. There's really no place you can go to escape it because those questions are always going to be there. So, however you handle it from this point on, however you handle your fame from this point on, you're saying you worked your whole life for it, you've done X, Y, and Z for it. You got these big relationships. You're doing a promotional thing with ProBox and all of this other stuff. The boxing world is yours now, bro. You just got to go out there, grab it by the balls, and even if you don't get the TKO, that ass whipping has to be like, oh my god, he just made Pitbull look like he was standing still. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. He probably it's more likely to get the boxer's knockout than straight flatline him.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. He made weight pretty good. He was 139.6. So he's pretty good. Pitbull's a little smaller, but Pitbull gotta go down to 35. But we'll be texting, man. We'll be texting and then going back and forth like we normally will, man. And we just a wake up away from seeing this shit. So
yep.
I'm gonna go back here and kick it with my lady. She for a little while till I close my eyes.
She came from excuse me, she came from her niece's birthday party. So I was in the kitchen making her what she'd been asking me for days and shit like that. She was like, you know what, I really want your spaghettis. It doesn't matter what the pasta is. I mean, if you speak Wendy Velez, every pasta is spaghettis. So, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, bro, you have a great night, man. Have a great weekend. We definitely gonna chop it up tomorrow and on to the next one. Salute to Aaron Jones. Salute to the panel. Salute to everybody that pulled up and shit like that. This is just one of those conversations to whereas, you say to yourself, if I'm a fan, from my perspective, maybe not yours, it had to be spoke on because it's one of the things that I'm that makes me give a little pause. But other than that, listen, I'm still a fan of yours, Terrence Crawford. I'm still rocking with the gym and things like that. But it's just one of those things that, as a fan of yours, it makes me say, So that's where we are.
All right, bro.
I'll catch you with you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. I'm pulling for Shaki, man. I thought it was gonna be 50-50, and I was like, man, hopefully we get to see. I've been on some stuff to where when these guys get up to their weight class to where they should be, they look better. So far, everybody who moved up to where they should be look way better. Like if you look at how Bud looked going up there with Canelo at, you know what I'm saying? Like if you look at Devin going up there where Brian Norman was at, they all looking better. Hopefully Frank will look better at 40. Keyshawn probably look better at 40. Probably look real good at 47 if he really got the skills to pay the bills. Dance partners still matter, but just on principle, I like Cool Boy. I like this posture and this little attitude thing that he got. I don't like that shit. I like Foster's mindset. I like how he carry himself, and he do have the skills. I think that his thing is he a cardiac kid. He gotta wait and have the pressure up against him, have his back up against the wall till he really start fighting. Hopefully he don't do that. And knowing that, Cool Boy, it could be a strategy to try to bully, but it's kind of weird. You know, he could have been struggling. You know what I'm saying? Really struggling to make it and just say, you know what? I ain't going to push myself because I'm not going to go in there depleted. And he made a business decision. But it don't make no sense to try to do the weight bully thing because you're not going to get a title. Unless you just think they're going to toss you big names. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to see. But I'm banking on O'Shaquie Foster, man, stepping up and really showing people because he's saying he want Shakur. And hopefully he fight like he wants Shakur after this. And he said with his WBC, he's definitely going to use, you know, his ability to move up after this, you know what I'm saying, and go up to go see, you know, try to get Shakur. If Shakur, you know, when Shakur come back down. So, you know what I'm saying, you got a little bit of the hunter and the hunted, you know what I'm saying. Shakur got business with T.O., but real interesting, man. I mean, it's messed up, man. I was skeptical about Cool Boy and making weight. I was saying something about it, and it's funny because even moving up, man, I've seen it, and that's worse. Like even moving up, people be missing weight. You know, it's I don't know if it speaks to discipline. I don't know if he's gonna feel sluggish. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna try to big boy him, bully him, you know. Who knows? We'll see, man. But you know what I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna watch the fights, I'm gonna take my notes, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna come right back out and let y'all know exactly what I've seen, man. I just had to do this segment on Bud because he finessed Mauricio Sulaimán twice, man, and he brought a lot of eyes and attention to some shit that probably should have stayed under the radar, man. You know, exposed a lot of people. He exposed a lot of people, man, because a lot of people were shitting on Floyd. A lot of people were shitting on Tank. And now we know, man, that there's blatant favoritism. Now we know that there's a clear-cut agenda. And Aaron Jones, I don't know if you knew this, but AC, he reminded us that Turkey, he got Wilder 2 Bentleys. But remember Turkey, they spazzed when Tank asked for 2 Ferraris. Like, that was something, man. I'm like, man, it's clear as day that people just got something up against Tank. A lot of people are jealous. They don't think that he deserves it. I don't know if because he's from Baltimore. I don't know what it is, you know what I'm saying? That the fact that he got a fan base, I don't know what the hell it is. He knocked people out. People be talking about how people are boring. I've never seen a boring Tank fight. I've never, ever seen a boring Tank fight. If anything, he be having you on the edge of your seat too much. Like, goddamn. Like my lady said, man, Tank, I had you chain spoken or something like that. She be like, man, he play too much. You know, I be saying the same thing. I ain't never seen, but people just can't stand Tank. I don't know why. But we know it's a clear-cut agenda out here, man, to get that man off his square. God damn, like, and he was real with everybody saying all he wanted was the belts. I mean, all he wanted was the money. And now that's the conclusion that everybody that came to, man. Them belts is this and that, you know what I'm saying? But they pick and they choose. Man. Bud, well, thanks, Bud. You helped expose a lot of people, Bud. So I appreciate that, bro. You helped expose a lot of people with this whole shit, man. Because people are coming out the woodworks with all kind of shit. They getting real creative. You know, it's hard to listen to these folks after this, man. It really is. But this is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie, that fact-based content, not opinion-based. I think it's because they don't want another Floyd. He just don't talk as much, but he control his career. I just think they hate Al Heyman. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And like people trying to say, like they trying to say that Bud passed the torch to Shakur. I think they mad that Floyd really passed the torch to Tank. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Say what you want, man. Say what you want, but it can't be an interview. It can't be an interview done. It can't be a weigh-in done. It can't be a press conference done without everything surrounding Because people have actually been coming out saying, like, I don't want to make this about Tank, but let me just ask you this, and then they proceed to talk about it. Like nobody can't do nothing. I seen a title, I seen a whole headline video with Tank name in it. I'm like, this shit ain't got nothing to do with this ain't got nothing to do with Tank. But you know what I'm saying? Everybody keeps saying, man, he gotta get himself together, gotta get his personal life together. I'm like, nah, people gotta stop lying and capping. Because people love to run with shit without no proof. You know what I'm saying? They love to run with shit without no proof, right? But then in other situations, they need 100% proof. Like, it's just weird. Anyway, this fruits and veggies, not that Reggie, that fact-based content, not opinion-based, even though we have ours, man. Hopefully you was able to put something in your rucksack with this one. We dove deep, you know what I'm saying, and we talked about a few things, man. Just we peeled back some of the layers of that onion, man. Mauricio says good luck, but you know what that means? That's like one of them things, like when you go down south and they be like, oh, bless his heart. Like when somebody say good luck in these kind of situations when they say good luck, that don't mean good luck. I hope y'all know that. Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.